What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right. What is it? Is it Friday night? Must be the Friday night Radio Baloney Live. How's everybody doing? Good to see everyone. Denny, Brian, Spambot, JJ, Trudeau Survivor. That was a tough one. Izzy, how's it going, everyone? Good to see you in the chat already. All right. So we got a lot on the plate. We got to, well, should we get to the menu? Then we'll come back to the chat. Let's go to the menu. So first off, and actually I got to move. Actually, we're going to go first at the Conservative Leadership Convention in Canada. For those not in Canada, as tonight, Pierre Poilievre has made his speech. They'll be voting right now. I'm hoping that we'll have the results in maybe like an hour and a half. Should have in an hour and a half, I would think, pretty easy. Pierre Poilievre is going to win. It's just how much? How much of the vote does he get? Does he get 80%? Does he get 90%, 85%? Who knows? We'll find out. We're going to be talking about that. And we'll actually talk about that quite a bit. In fact, there's a bunch of stuff that we may not even get to tonight because, it depends on how it goes. We'll see. Let's see. New York homeless freeze to death in icy grip of Mamdani's warmth of collectivism. So that's what he meant by warmth of collectivism. Dying of cold. Going real well in New York. Let's see. We got these. There's 3 million pages of Epstein files just released by the Trump administration. And boy, oh boy, Bill Gates. Yikes. Thanks for sending this in, you guys. I think Spambot sent that in. I think a couple of people sent that in. Don Lemon arrested. He's already out on bail, but I mean, it's, I can understand how he's out already, or not even on bail, actually. He's not actually a danger to anyone, but anyway, he's being charged. I don't think that Don Lemon is going to do anything else. I don't think he's an idiot. He's a total idiot and a racist, and he just an utter bigot. But the judge probably doesn't expect him to go out and rob a bank or something. So, fair enough, whatever. We'll talk about that. We got some ICE stuff. With Tim Walz, who's a total loony. We've got some meme review stuff. Oh, that's a crazy flag. Let's see. We've got some Alberta independence stuff, and there's just the rhetoric around this. Like, anybody remember 1980, 1995? Right? Was anybody calling the Quebecois? Was anybody calling them traitors? Of course not. Just the level of hypocrisy I'm seeing around this issue is just from the mainstream media, from Canadian leftists, is totally and utterly insane. We'll get into that. It's like they want Alberta to be independent from their behavior. Like they're behaving like people trying to convince other people to say, I just want to get away from you. Anyway, let's see. I think there's this narrative in the mainstream press, which they did it against the truckers, right? They did about anybody who had any questions about the jab, right? Far right, blah, 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 rednecks, blah, blah, blah. Just this very haughty, arrogant attitude. And Pardon me. And look, the Alberta separatist people that I'm seeing around are pretty reasonable people, right? And they've done the cost benefit analysis. They know that there's something to lose, but they think that there's more to gain. They've done that analysis, and they've decided. It all seems they're quite reasonable to me. Whether they're right or wrong, I don't know. In the long term, 100 years from now, who knows? But this attitude and these attacks against them from the mainstream press and from leftists in Canada is totally insane and utterly hypocritical. Let's see. Canada crime. So, city of Surrey has admitted it's lost control, declaring a state of emergency. Indian gang extortion crisis. Welcome to 2026. We're losing entire cities. Here you go. Elbows up this. Like, how bad does it actually have to get in Canada? I mean, you got cities now having to declare states of emergencies because of the crime. And this is directly linked to immigration. Okay, these are people who've come to Canada. It's happening in the Indian community, and they're doing this to other people in the Indian community. Lawyers and business owners. Like, okay, maybe at this point it's reasonable to say, what the fuck are we doing? Let's just stop this right now. Because it's only a matter of time till it leaks into all the communities. Let's see. I'm sure it already is. We've got some far left agitators actually being arrested in Canada. I'm sure nothing happened to them, slap on the wrist, but I guess that's something. We'll talk about the just scam artist. I would just call him a scam artist at this point. Mark Carney. We'll have a bit of a talk about him. The terrible, terrible leader that is Mark Carney. He's just a scammer. I mean, he's just a scammer at this point. Yes, we've got Poilievre here. We're going to deal with that first. We're going to go through a bunch of clips from the speech. What do we have here? We have a bunch of stuff that you guys sent in. There's some Christopher Hitchens there. There's some Biden walking off into the jungle. A bunch of stuff. It's a mix. There's like Hobbit people getting married. That's crazy. Oh, we got Amelia from the UK again. My favorite bigot. Let's see. Message for liberal supporters. There's lots of stuff. There's jokes. There's fun stuff. This will get to the end if we've got the time. I don't even know if we will tonight. With all this conservative leadership stuff going on. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please go to the second channel, Radio Baloney News. It's, 4 or 5 months old or something at this point. It's where all of the world news, the UK, US, meme review, woke mind virus stuff, all going on Radio Baloney News now. So the channel you're watching right now is Radio Baloney. It's only for live streams and Canadian news now. All the other stuff you have to get on the second channel, Radio Baloney News. Lots of good stuff there. And the algorithm hates you. It hates me. It fears us getting together and combining our power. So let's do that. Let's just do that thing that they hate. All right. As everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on Locals. Now, when you subscribe to the channel or become like a channel member or send money or something like that, of course you're getting free good karma. Of course you are. But the easiest way of all is just to simply like the stream. Like it. Like the stream and you get free good karma. But if you're early, if you're one of the early ones doing that, you get extra good karma. What is it tonight? It's like 6 good karmas. Trudeau Survivor saying he got the first like. That's 6 good karmas for you, my friend. In these troubled times, that comes in handy. JJ Nevada, 2. Future leader of Greenland, JJ Nevada, 2. That's 5 good karmas for you. That's going to go a long way to helping you become Emperor of Greenland. Easy, like number 3. That's a 4 good karmas for you. Looks like Spambot got the like number 4 here, so that's a 3. Is that 3 good karmas on Rumble? But then number 1 on X, so that's 6. So that's 9 good karmas. 9, that's the most of all. Beautiful. Anybody else in there? I don't know what's going on. Listen, What are you guys talking about? Let's do a bit of chat, and then we'll wait for everybody else to show up, and then we'll get to the stories. Trudeau says, here I sit without my purple pants. I really need them for the dance. The women see my giant boner. Off to jail, and I'm a goner. Where are my purple pants? See, I did an impromptu song the last stream about my purple pants. They're actually lounge pants. Obviously, I wouldn't wear purple pants in public, obviously, right? But I just, for some reason, I did. I felt like the chat needed it, and now it's a thing. Now it's a thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with it. Actually, I think I shared too much. Let's see. Nevada says, I'm just here for the noodles and pics of Greenland. Well, before you start freaking out about noodles, we'll just go to the noodle show. There we go. Just get it out of the way now. There we go. I do find this particularly soothing, hypnotic, meditative. It's nice. It calms you down. If you're angry, watch this, and you'll calm down real quick. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, on a U.S. company website, shipping to Canada is $40 USD. Shipping in U.S. is only $5. Can we join the U.S. already? Well, I mean, Mark Carney seems determined to break up Canada into pieces that, other countries can just claim. So you may get your wish. Ottawa, how you doing, Ottawa James? Spambuff on it says, I sent a huge number of things. I noticed that, and I didn't get to them all. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, the only people who are hurt by joining the U.S. are the loser politicians, mostly federal and government employees. All I see are wins. Yeah. I don't want to join the U.S. I want to be a separate country. Look, presidents change. The Democrats are determined the next time they get into power to turn the United States into a one-party state forever, to import, it wasn't 20 million wasn't enough under Biden, so they want to bring in 50 million next time and immediately get them all voting, get them all naturalized in voting, and they're gonna put every conservative in prison. This is what they're saying they're going to do, right? So, they're gonna pack the Supreme Court. I'd rather just be our own country, Canada, and be sane. I'd like that instead of insane. Let's see. Ottawa James says, Cardi makes me hurl. I know. Cardi sucks. We hate Cardi. Let's see. Spambot says, Carnage, Mark Carnage makes Albertans line up for 3 hours to sign up. Yes, they're right to hate Mark Carney. They're right to hate him. All right, let me see. I think I'm missing some of the YouTube chat here. Danny, how you doing? Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. Very well. Brian says Pierre's speech was great. We'll get into it. Danny says, I wish I had the money to go to the leadership conference. Well, it's over now. Amen says, hey, chat, how you doing? Amen. All right. Denny says, power to the real people. 100%. All right. So let's go to, before we get it, so the speeches happen. We're going to get to a bunch of clips, but I want to see what they're saying on the CBC. Now, I was watching the speech. There's a couple of parts of the speech I missed because I was just having to do stuff, and it's like leading up to the stream, obviously. But I got caught most of it, and I caught the end. And I was watching the CTV broadcast, and I watched some of the, Vassy with the commentators afterwards. And only in Canada, on Canadian mainstream media, it's the Conservative Leadership Conference, and they've got one conservative and two just absolute partisan liberals. One of them is an old Justin Trudeau aide. The other, like, only in Canada would they do this. There's Vassie Kapelos, who at one point seemed like she really wanted to be a real journalist, right? Not anymore, apparently. Attack, 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 attack. You've got one conservative on the panel talking about the conservative leadership vote. One, and then two absolutely, actually just ludicrous liberals. The mood in the room's really bad. It's really dark. It's really bad. And Pierre's terrible, and I thought it was awful, really bad. He needs to read some history books. And you know who needs to read some history books? Mark Carney. Did you hear his speech at Davos? Only in Canada. Well, actually, no, they do the same thing on like for a Republican convention on CNN or MSNBC, I guess. I guess it's just a mainstream media thing in the West now. I was watching CBC earlier before the speech, and you have Rosie on there and David Cochran. And it's just, they are paid to do PR for the liberals and to attack conservatives. That's what it is. They moved the goalpost because before the convention, the word was well, you know, if he's only in the 70s, PR, you know, gets approved, you know, by the party in the 70s. If he's only in the 70s, I mean, you know, that doesn't look good, and he's not a strong leader. And then that, you know, became obvious. Well, he's probably going to be in the 80s. So then they moved the goalposts tonight to, well, I mean, he should really get like 95%, shouldn't he? I mean, there's something wrong if he doesn't get. I mean, literally, that's the number that was thrown out. 95%. He should get 95%, 92%, 90%. They just move the goalposts. They are there to brainwash Canadians. Now, of course, the only people watching it would have been conservatives, right? So, I mean, just every single person watching would have been enraged by them, by their hackiness. Anyway, let's see what they're saying right now on the CBC. I'd be shocked if it's not something negative about Pierre Poilievre and the conference. Oh, the stream is over already. Okay. I wonder if there's another live stream. Hold on. If it was Liberal Convention, it'd still be going, you know that much. Hold on. Well, which one is this one? Good. Nope. Hold on. Toronto Star. Do they have a live feed? No. All right. All right. So yeah, there's no commentary going on about it. Now, let's just get to Pierre. So let me refresh this. All right. Oh. God damn it. Is the internet just going to fail on me now? There we go. All right, we're good. So a rousing cheer as Poilievre finishes his speak, now to see the approval results. So let's just watch the end here. Now, one thing they were saying on the CTV coverage afterwards, the two liberals were talking about how, there wasn't really much applause, and like only at the front and on the stage were they applauding, and behind that nobody was applauding. Just an outright blatant lie. It's really gross. Do you think that, like, you know, Vassie, for instance, who, again, at one point seemed like she maybe wanted to be a real journalist, think she ever just kind of becomes disgusted by what she's a part of? I don't know. Let's take a look.
A big, cold, vast land, because we never give up. We never back down. We never run away. We stand united tonight, together, always, because this country, its people, and promise are worth fighting for. Because while some say this is as good as it gets, we know the best is yet to come. Thank you.
So, Well, but the liberal NDP, the leftist CTV panel people told me that they weren't clapping, only clapping at the front and on the stage. But I could see all the people clapping there, and it seems like a pretty rousing a round of applause. Why did they lie to me? Why did they always lie? Now, my thoughts on the speech was, my thoughts on the speech were that, I mean, it's a strong speech. It was not reinventing the wheel. And the thing is about wheels is that they work. So it's not really great to reinvent them. They're best when they're round, right? Like, don't reinvent the thing that works already. Okay? Like the kitchen table issues are they are going to assert themselves enough at some point. You just have to believe. And that's what he keeps hammering away on. Things that matter to Canadians in Canada. I'm glad that we didn't hear any kind of far-flung, fantastical speeches about middle powers and blah, 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 like Carney did at Davos, because that's just totally irrelevant to what's happening for real Canadians in Canada. But he didn't reinvent the wheel. Carney reinvented the wheel. Now it's square. And now it hurts your ass every time it turns, right? So don't reinvent the wheel. Now, through much of it, would I say that it was super inspiring? Some parts were. An entire, a fairly long speech isn't going to be all the way through. Some parts were, I thought, towards the end when he was talking about his family and he kind of got emotional. That, I don't know. I don't think he's a good actor, right? So I think it was real. I believe it. When I see him up there and he starts to choke up a little bit, I believe it. I don't believe that Pierre Poilievre is a Oscar-winning actor. I think that's real. And it's certainly more realistic than with Carney. I mean, we've never seen any emotion out of Carney. He's basically a lizard, right? Like, Pierre Poilievre is not a globe-trotting jet setter. He just lives in Canada in a house with his family. Mark Carney is, his wife and kids are living in New York. He's off living in somewhere in Europe. Pierre Poilievre is not that. He's just a guy. Again, he's a Canadian guy. He's lived in Canada. All right. He's lived in Canada his entire life, and everything he does is in Canada and with his family. His family isn't living on a different continent. So I believe it. And I thought that's very, that will not get seen by any liberals, of course. That part will never have existed to the CBC or CTV or Global News. But let's see if we've got a clip of that in here somewhere. But first, Poilievre delivers a strong message condemning regressive post-national perspectives on Canadian history and identity. Aren't we sick of that? This is from the Dominion Society of Canada. Yes, Canada was remade in the image of Justin Trudeau. And everything had to be remade to Justin Trudeau's liking, including our history, everything. Anyway, let's hear Pierre Poilievre here.
For the last 10 years, Ottawa has told our young people that our history is filled with shame and horror, that we are a post-national country with no core identity, and that our youth will never own homes. But other than that, they should feel great about being united in Canada. All the while, the federal government stomps on Alberta's energy sector and Quebec's jurisdiction. Now, our message to those youth and to all of the people in Alberta and Quebec who are losing hope in our country, you will again have a country that respects your autonomy, is proud of your industries, unites us around our common identity and history, a country that will afford you the hopeful future that you have earned.
A few moments later.
We want a nation where all of us are equal, a nation that is colorblind. We want a nation with no more hyphens, no more group labels. We are all Canadians, Canadians in our heart, Canadians in every single way.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. right? I don't think we should have a society based on. I don't think we should have a society with different rules based on your race. I think that's totally insane. The only way a society can work is if everybody is equal under the law. You can't have different sentencing for people based on identity. That's insane. Or hiring. You can't have different standards for hiring people. It should just be merit. We need to get back to a merit society again. So, Dominion Society of Canada says, before reaffirming post-national concepts of what it means to be Canadian. Look, I don't think that's a post-national concept. I don't think everybody the same under the law is a post-national concept. I think that's perfectly consistent with Western values. Everybody's the same. Right? People are judged on the content of their character. That's the whole point, right? That's why we don't we want the actual equality, right? We don't like the inequality that is championed by radical leftists like Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney. I don't think that's confusing in the slightest. But you're going to get that. Let's see. So here is Pierre Poilievre talking about, here we go again, the Liberals are in power, and, well, Liberals do liberal things. Let's take a look.
And we need to unite this country like never before, because a house divided cannot stand. Here we go again. Liberals are in power, and just as night follows day, separatist movements are in resurgence back in Quebec and here in Alberta. These movements, which had been dormant or even dead when Prime Minister Harper left office. Now, we can simply attack people who feel this way, or we can ask them why. Why in Alberta and Quebec? Why, particularly among young people in those provinces, have so many lost hope in Confederation? Well, here's a few hints. For the last 10 years, Ottawa has told our young people that our history is filled with shame and horror, that we are a post-national country with no core identity, and that our youth will never own homes. But other than that, they should feel great about being united in Canada. All the while, the federal government stomps on Alberta's energy sector and Quebec's jurisdiction. Now, our message to those youth and to all of the people in Alberta and Quebec who are losing hope in our country: you will again have a country that respects your autonomy, is proud of your industries, unites us around our common identity and history, a country that will afford you the hopeful future that you have earned. Thank you. It's incredible that when there's never been a referendum crisis or a national unity crisis when Conservatives have been in power. It's an interesting coincidence, isn't it?
So I think that's the right tone right there for a conservative leader. Will it convince, most separatists to not want what they want? I don't think so, because I think that so many just feel like it's too far gone at this point. But this is the right message. This is a respectful message, right? Of like, I'm going to try and win you back. And that's the good. This is not, this is not the left-wing rhetoric of they're traitors and they're far right and blah, 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 blah. And the lies about how they're determined to become part of the United States. If you pay any attention to the independence movement in Alberta, they do not want to be part of the United States. They want to be independent, an independent country. So this is the right message. I mean, just for just for the tone, the national tone on this. This is the right message, right? It's respectful, it's good. We want to win you back. And the points he raises are absolutely valid. Okay, you can't say that Canada is a post-national country with no core identity and it's a ongoing genocide, infinite genocide state, and then be like, oh, elbows up, elbozos, elbows up, everybody, elbows up, Team Canada, and expect everybody to buy it. It's like, no, you still think that we're not even an actual country. You still think that you're still pushing a totally ahistorical lie about Canada's history. No, you still think that we're an all evil colonist, evil settler colonists. Of course you still think that. You didn't stop thinking that. I'm talking about the leftists here, about the liberals here. So why would you expect anything else? And just obviously the extremely condescending attitude towards the West, particularly Alberta. So Pierre's message is, I'm going to try and win you back. And that's the right message. For somebody who doesn't want to see Canada split up, that's the right message. All right. Let's keep going. We got lots of these clips. Harrison Faulkner posted this one. We are Canadians. Only Canadians could carve the world's best country out of a big, cold, vast land because we never give up. Let's see. Well, let's take a look.
We are Canadians, only Canadians, could carve the world's best country out of a big, cold, vast land because we never give up. We never back down. We never run away. We stand united tonight, together, always, because this country, its people, and promise are worth fighting for. Because while some say this is as good as it gets, we know the best is yet to come. Thank you very much. I
just feel like that's more positive than the left's message that, Canada was founded by genocidal colonists, like, super ultra racists. I just feel like this is a more positive message than the, ongoing genocide, which is ridiculous. Very few states committing genocides give $32 billion a year to the genocidees, right? That's what Justin Trudeau said, though. That's what Justin Trudeau said. The easy thing, though, the easy way to tell if something that Justin Trudeau said is bullshit or not is the fact that if Justin Trudeau said it, well, then it's bullshit. That's how you know. It's easy. Easy method. Pierre Poilievre on Canada's opioid epidemic. So he's talking about tough sentences. And, I think at this point, after many years of being, anti-war on drug, I think I'm ready for war on drugs too, as opposed to, collaboration with drugs. Because the collaboration with drugs didn't work. Disastrous results. Let's take a look.
And we'll protect our loved ones from addictions. Overdoses have cost 50,000 lives and overrun our streets. We'll bring in life sentences for fentanyl kingpins, shut down the drug dens, and treat drug abuse. Because 50,000 dead is too many. Let me tell you. And we'll protect our loved ones.
Yeah, look, harm reduction was tried. 25-year experiment with harm reduction. Decriminalizing, needle centers and injection sites. It resulted in an order of magnitude increase in deaths and ruined families and all of the crime and all the other negatives that are attendant to widespread drug use and addiction. Right? So tried it. right? They told us it works great in Portugal. So I don't know. Maybe it's still working in Portugal, ain't working here. So when you've got something, when you've got a cure for a problem, and the cure causes 10 times more people to die than if they didn't have the cure, at some point you've got to say, maybe the cure isn't a cure. Maybe it's just making things worse. So I think at this point, I mean, like the numbers are so staggering, like 50,000. It's completely insane. It's actually inhuman, right? It's indecent. This is not compassion. This is not empathy, right? It's actually cruelty, as it turns out. Anybody who walks the downtown of any city in Canada can see it doesn't look like compassion. It looks like cruelty, doesn't it? So I'm at this point ready. And again, I used to be the war on drugs is stupid and obviously it's not working. And well, it worked better than what's happening now. So I'm of the mind now that War on Drugs 2, the sequel, this time it's personal. And we'll tweak it from there. So we'll just bring down the number of deaths by 10 times, right? Try and repair the damage done by a far leftist policy and tweak it from there and see what we can do. It might turn out that there's no utopia. There is no perfect solution. That you can reduce the damage, but you can never get rid of all of it. And then you just have to live with that. But what you don't do is create an order of magnitude more deaths from something. So, I mean, that's my feelings on it. Stop doing the thing that's a total disaster and ruins countless lives. So, Juno News, here's Pierre Poilievre cracking a joke. And let's take a look. This is him at the start of the speech. Let's take a look. By the way, if anybody sees the results, if they put the results out of the vote tonight, can you put it in the chat? Just let me know, and then we'll dig into that.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Thank you, everybody.
Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Anna.
Valentina and Cruz.
La mère de mes deux enfants, Martina et Cruz.
Most of all, thank you to the great grassroots conservatives who work and unite here today. And welcome to my hometown of Calgary. Conservatives from all over the country. Who's excited to be in Calgary in January? We're tough, we can take it. A little bit of regional advice for our Atlantic friends. Try the steak, not the seafood. For those of you from the Eastern Prairies, sorry to block your view with the mountains. To our friends in Toronto, enjoy your time outside of the center of the universe. I love seeing so many conservatives in one place, but it must freak the Liberals out enough to invoke the Emergencies Act.
I mean, it's not the funniest, but there's some truth in it, though. There's some truth in it. They don't like it. Let's see. Harrison Faulkner posted this. Liberal government doesn't just leave people behind, it prices and shuts out youth from homes. Well, this is the worst thing about the transformation of Canada into the embodiment of Justin Trudeau is the fact that Canada went from a country when he got in power where a young family in their 20s could afford, it wouldn't be easy, but they could afford to buy a little house with a little backyard somewhere, and they didn't have to live 8 hours from where they worked. That was doable. You could do that then. After Trudeau, now with Carney, forget it. Unless you've got wealthy parents, unless you've got some big financial backing, the vast majority of young people just simply can't afford that. And they're not having families, they're not having children, which is a national tragedy as well, right? So that's the reality. That's what happens when you have 10 years of radical leftist policies and a bunch of sweet lies from shysters, from scam artists like Trudeau and Carney. Let's hear Pierre Poilievre.
Right now, as we gather, families are struggling to do the math. Young people are wondering if they'll ever have a job or a home. Worried parents are sitting at kitchen tables with empty fridges and empty bank accounts. And seniors worry that their savings might not last as long as their days. This Liberal government doesn't just leave people behind. It prices and shuts out youth from homes, workers from jobs, and families from groceries. Simply put, Canadians cannot afford life under the Liberal government. Right now, as we gather.
It's true. And there are far too many Canadians that are just frogs in a pot, right? Frogs in a pot. The water's getting warmer, but they don't seem to realize it for some reason. They can't, even though they know life is different than it was 10 years ago. Right? Canada is not the same country. When you go from a country where a young couple, it may not be easy, but you could buy a house, you could start your life together. When it goes from that to a country where that's just gone for the vast majority of young people in the country, that's just gone. That's not the same country anymore. That happened over a decade. A decade. That much damage was done. Generational damage. So we got to turn it around quickly. The only way to do that is with a conservative government. You know, my hope is that if Canada is not just permanently California or New York at this point, that there is time to do it, that it is reversible. It may not be. Mark Carney creates endless destruction. This was posted by Mark Nixon. Let's hear this one.
Resource development and businesses. He taxes food production and then he creates new programs for food subsidies. In every case, he blocks and taxes a thing and then subsidizes that same thing. As President Reagan says, if a liberal sees something that moves, he taxes it. If it keeps moving, he regulates it. And when it stops moving, he subsidizes it. But
yeah, we see this. You see it everywhere in the world, right? The leftist policies. In effect, Carney, he breaks your arm and then expects you to thank him for putting a Band-Aid on it, and then charges you for the Band-Aid with interest. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Harrison Faulkner posted this clip of Pierre Poilievre talking about, well, the sorry state of Canadian business. Let's take a look.
Amazingly, Canadian citizens, this is an incredible fact. Canadian citizens now open more businesses in the United States of America than they do in their home country. That's elbows out. Amazingly, Canadian citizens, this is.
Well, you know, it's just kind of depressing. It really is. What else we got here? Pierre Poilievre on mass immigration. This is posted by, this clip is posted by Harrison Faulkner. This is something a lot of Canadians are interested in because a lot of Canadians realize that a large portion of Canada's problems can be laid at the feet of insane liberal immigration policies. If you're talking about inflation, obviously, mass immigration, sudden mass immigration is going to cause the cost of things to go up. Housing, everything. It's going to cause wages to go down or stagnate, of course, because you've got more supply for employers. Obviously, for housing, I mean, if you've got more people trying to find a place in the same amount of housing, it's more demand with the same supply. Obviously, that's going to raise the price. It's going to raise the price of food, everything. It's also going to stretch your It's also going to stretch your infrastructure to the breaking point. Nobody asked. Apparently, there's nobody doing logistics in the Liberal Party saying, well, how many hospital beds per 1,000 do we have? How many people can we actually handle? What about police? What about schools? How much can we actually handle? Apparently, nobody did this math, the basic logistics that you would expect any sane government to attend to. Obviously, nothing. Obviously, they did none of it. They knew and they didn't care. In the mad dash to get as many people in as possible for their own personal globalist reasons. Out of control, open borders immigration has overwhelmed healthcare, housing, and job markets. Yes. And just everything. Everything. I mean, what's your traffic like on your drive home? It affects that. Let's see. That's not all the clips we have. So Harrison Faulkner says Pierre Poilievre vows to remain true to conservative principles. Well, the media is constantly trying to insist that Pierre Poilievre has to become a radical leftist if he wants to become prime minister. And hey, that may be true, but if that's true, what's the point in even having a conservative party? Right? What's the point? What's the point in voting for a conservative if they're just going to be, Carney light? There is no point, right? I want him to stand by his principles. Thank you very much.
One of the most important lessons I have gained from listening to you throughout this convention is that you told us to ignore the voices who keep telling us to abandon our conservative principles. We will remain true to our principles. Absolutely. One of the most important lessons I have gained from listening.
Let's see. What do we got next? Hold on. Thought we had more in here. Maybe that's enough for now. What's this one? Harrison Faulkner posted this clip. Pierre Poilievre extends an olive branch to Prime Minister Mark Carney to help remove U.S. tariffs on Canada. Well, unfortunately, good luck with that. I don't think Mark Carney wants to remove U.S. tariffs on Canada. I think he wants things to stay as they are right now. In fact, to get worse. And things have gotten worse under Carney. Tariffs are worse now than when Carney became prime minister. And I think Carney likes that. I think he's using this for his own cynical, selfish, personal goals. I don't think Carney's at all concerned with Canadians and the well-being of Canadians. I think it has to be obvious that at this point.
And now more than ever, we need autonomy and independence. Unfair and unresolved U.S. tariffs and diplomatic distractions and disruptions from down south and from other places show that we cannot rely on others to secure our borders or buy our goods. Conservatives renew our good faith offer to help the Prime Minister and his government get U.S. tariffs removed and open new markets abroad. We will work with the government in any way we can because conservatives always put our country ahead of our party.
See, this is the common sense that I often talk about, right? He talks about Canada needs to be strong on its own, but we need that trade deal. So Carney says we need to be strong on our own, and also our relationship with the states is over. Like, that doesn't. Yeah, we're not replacing that 80% of trade. We kind of need that. Whatever you have to do, just get that done. See, I have confidence that Pierre Poilievre will take a different tack, a more realistic and pragmatic tack with the Trump administration that will work. I mean, at least just not intentionally, constantly pissing them off. It starts to look after a while like you really don't want to get things sorted out, Mr. Carney. It sure does. Let's see. Things all got mixed up in here somehow. All right, CPAC posted this. So here, Pierre Poilievre is talking to the people who felt unseen for too long, let's take a look. Well, that's everybody who's not a far left lunatic in Canada. So I want to hear this because I'm not a far left lunatic.
So I got a funny paradox for you. I got a bit of a funny paradox for you. He imposes taxes and red tape on home building, resource development, and businesses. Then he creates new bureaucracies to subsidize home building, resource development, and businesses. He taxes food production, and then he creates new programs for food subsidies. In every case, he blocks and taxes a thing and then subsidizes that same thing. As President Reagan says, if a liberal sees something that moves, he taxes it. If it keeps moving, he regulates it. And when it stops moving, he subsidizes it. But why not just get out of the way and let things move? Well, because then there'd be no role for him. No photo op, no power. If everyone could just get up and do great things without him, he would be less relevant. The government would be.
Well, I just want to add to this as well. This way he can funnel taxpayer money in subsidies to companies that he has an interest in through Brookfield or elsewhere. That's a big reason.
Less important. This way, you have to give him your money and then come ask for some of it back. And he can claim that he's building the thing that he's blocking. The cost of the benefit is seen in the form of his photo ops and political power, but the cost is paid by the homeowner who can't build a home, the carpenter who never gets a job building it, and the family that never gets to move in, or the entrepreneur who never launches the business, or the senior who, because of all these extra costs, has to choose between eating and heating. These costs are so often unseen. And even more often, so too are the people paying them. But my message to those people who have felt unseen for too long, who are carrying the country on their back and feel underappreciated and overworked, conservatives see you and conservatives will fight for you.
Now, again, he's not reinventing the wheel here, but so Pierre Poilievre is not reinventing the wheel here, right? But you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It works. It works. Don't. Mark Carney reinvented the wheel. Now it's square. Doesn't work very well. Just keep the round wheel that always works, right? That's the whole thing with like common sense, right? Why is something common sense? Because it's tried and true, things that actually work. You don't have to think about too much. They just work. Just do things that work. Get out of the way. Don't create problems and then offer the solution. But the person you're offering the solution to has to pay for the solution for the problem that you caused. You know, Carney will break your arm, put a Band-Aid on it, and then charge you for the Band-Aid. Like, let's just do sane stuff from now on. Just boring, normal, pragmatic things. Pipelines, for instance, right? It's just getting done. How about that? The Prime Minister can say it's just getting done. Sorry, sorry, NGO, Coastal First Nations. Sorry, EB. I've got the authority. We're just doing it. How about that? There you go. Done. Done and done. How about that? All right. I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, we don't need anything else there. I do want to see, hold on one second. I do want to see before we go to the chat if there's any word on, hold on. If there's any word on on the vote. Maybe there's something that's come in early. Poilievre leadership vote result. Let's see. And then we're going to get to the chat in just a minute. Let's see. Well, Northern Perspective, they're big PR boosters. Pierre blew the roof off the convention center. Looks like our predictions were correct. No slogans, all hope, concrete solutions. The next Prime Minister of Canada. All right. Yeah, but CTV liberals, partisan liberals, said that it was dark. There's a dark feeling in there. It was a heavy feeling in there. Oh, so they lied. They lied. Let's see. I guess let's go for latest. I mean, he's going to win the vote. It's just by how much is the thing. And the mainstream media attacks will focus around whatever the number is. If it's 99%, it'll be a disaster. It wasn't 100%. And after conservatives made a terrible mistake. Let's see. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. All right, what are you guys talking about? Whoa, there's lots of chat. Lots of crazy chat. Actually, hold on a second. Is there any ads that are worth it for me to read? Nah, let's do the chat. JJ Nevada says, stinking commies want everyone to work for the government. It's true. Let's see. Nevada says, less government equals more prosperity. Well, Trudeau increased the public sector by 40%, and it's just all bureaucracy, right? And bureaucracies have to justify themselves, and they do this by creating more and more rules and red tape to make life difficult for people who are actually trying to achieve something. The golden rule. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, in Canada, 50% of the cost of a beer is taxed, 66% for wine, 75% for liquor. The government makes way more profit than the companies are making it. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but last I heard it was like $25 for a pack of smokes. Yikes. I mean, that's just crazy. Let's see. Radio streamer, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Izzy says, radio streamer says, Carney will break your arm, put a Band-Aid on it, and charge you for the Band-Aid, and in reality, you need a cast. Well, see, this is the thing. They don't actually fix anything. They just make it worse. They just keep re-breaking your arm over and over again. Izzy says he doesn't just charge for the Band-Aid. Don't forget the taxes on the Band-Aid. The taxes and the interest. That's right. Let's see. Dame Pam says, how you doing, Dame Pam? Booze and smokes are far cheaper in the U.S., just like food and house. Yeah, that's true. Ottawa James says, sounded like a good speech. It was a solid speech. Parts of it were quite rousing. Let's see. Dame Pam says all parties stood up in Parliament to give that World War II Nazi a standing ovation, lest we forget. Well, the Liberals organized it, and I kind of just assumed that everybody else, that most of they do these sorts of things. I don't think it's that rare. We're probably not really paying attention to what was going on. It is funny, though. Like, even the Speaker of the House didn't seem to have been aware of what was happening, because in his introduction, when he goes, and fought against the Russians in World War II, and then he just kind of stopped and you could see it in his eyes. Oh, fuck. It's a Nazi. Oh, damn it. I assume like the Conservatives and the NDP just, there's somebody speaking or whatever. I don't think they're paying much attention. Let's see. I mean, I hope that's the case, because, I mean, look, if you don't know who was fighting against the Russians on the Eastern Front in World War II, I mean, that's a problem. Trudeau Survivor makes a great point here. Carney will break your arm and then suggest you get made so he can harvest your organs and sell them to the highest Chinese bidder. I wonder if Brookfield's in that. Maybe they got a sideline in organ harvesting. Let's say, Izzy asks, what does Todd Howell think of commies? I don't think he likes them. I think he's opposed to them, quite frankly. Oh, you guys forgot. For channel members, there are new emojis. So there's a brand new Todd Howell emoji. There is a link monkey emoji. And there is also, in case I ever, which I probably will never do again, but in case I ever bring the guitar onto the show again, there's it says genius, and it's a picture of a guitar, and that's the other emoji. So for those channel members that want to use those, you can use those now. A beautiful Todd Howell one, by the way. Beautiful, gorgeous. Let's see. Nevada says it's about $14 per pack for the best ones in Nevada. You talk about cigarettes. I buy the middle of the road type for around $5.50. Wow. I mean, I haven't been to the States in probably, I don't know, like 10 years. And I think it was about $6 a pack for like Marlboro back then, I think. Let's see. Oh, there's Todd Howell. There he is. There's those beautiful emojis. Beautiful. All right. Nice. I thought you guys would like the Todd Howell one. Let's see. Dame Pam says the Libs would rather offer you made instead of a Band-Aid. 100%. Just gets rid of you. Just gets rid of the problem. Let's say then they got more room for somebody you got here like 5 minutes ago. Let's see. Izzy says rousing parts of the Poilievre speech would have been cut away by the media. Yes, of course they would have. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says 1,125 out of 10 on the emojis and noodles. Very well. Trudeau Swerve says, I never saw that Speaker of the House clip. Let me see if I can find it, actually. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Speaker of the House. Ukrainian Nazi. Let's see. Hold on. There's got to be a clip in here. There's got to be a clip in here. Where is it? What the hell? Where are the clips? Hold on. Yaroslav Hunka. Maybe if I put this Hunka. Maybe if I just put in Parliament. Hold on. Canadian Parliament. Let's see. There must be a clip here. There must be a clip on X somewhere. Let's see. Oh, come on. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a look.
And continues to support the troops to veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians. And
Did you see that? Did you see? Watch that again. Against the Russians, and then inhale. Oh shit! Let's take a look.
The Ukrainian independence against the Russians, and continues to support the troops.
It just clicked in his brain there. One more time.
Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians. And continue.
Oh shit. Oh, that's awesome. You can literally see there when it suddenly hits them. Oh no, that's not right. Rosie asks, "Oh no, who got made? I just got here 5 minutes ago." I don't know. Like, what were we talking about? Let's see. Let's see. The clip didn't work, Spambot? Okay. Trudeau Survivor says Don Lemon got made. It didn't work. No, I'm sorry. Don Lemon got AIDS. AIDS. Not made. I think. I assume. I can only assume. Probably Liberace AIDS. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor. He paused like, did I read that right? I mean, you can see where he pauses there, and he raises his eyebrow and goes, and breathes in and goes, you can hear it in his head. Oh, fuck. Justin screwed me. He screwed me again. Izzy says, you can bet that was played frequently in Russia so they could laugh at his yes. I don't know what James says. Leadership results won't be released until 1 a.m. Eastern, so 10 o'clock. So in about an hour and 20 minutes. So we'll still be live then. We'll still be live then. Radio streamer asks, did he get Liberace AIDS from the littlest hobo? That makes absolutely no sense. For one thing, the littlest hobo would never have AIDS. Okay? Lassie had AIDS. Littlest hobo never had AIDS, would never have AIDS. Okay? So I don't even know where that's coming from. That doesn't make any sense to me. Radio streamer says, you said that littlest hobo got Liberace AIDS from Lassie. No. I just said that Lassie got Liberace AIDS from Liberace. No, littlest hobo, straight as an arrow, 100%. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, littlest hobo wouldn't even go to, like, the Ice Capades. So straight. Super straight. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. All right. So what do we got? Let's check out the EU here. So there are some bright spots in Europe. It's mostly terrible, and Europe is mostly just destroying itself. But there are some bright spots. You see Poland here. Poland rejects the EU mandate on the Migration Pact. So let's take a look. So the Eastern Europeans, I mean, they still remember communism. And so they still have some common sense. They haven't gotten too comfortable and forgotten, I guess, France, the UK, the Western countries didn't live under communism, right? The Poles did. So, I mean, they had the worst from both sides, from fascism and communism, even though they're both leftist ideologies. But in any case, they remember, and they're not eager to go back to that. Let's take a look.
Islamskiej mamie. Tutaj nie będziecie wprowadzać żadnych
You will not introduce your Islamic rules.
swoich praw. Tutaj jest
This is Poland.
Polska.
This is our land. I'm liking the sounds of this.
Tutaj jest nasza ziemia.
Our country.
Nasz kraj. Nasze
Our rules and values.
prawa i zasady. Tutaj królem jest Jezus Chrystus.
Here Jesus Christ is our King.
Nie interesują nas żadne dyrektywy i kwoty
We're not interested in any European something or immigration quotas.
imigrantów, które gdzieś tam sobie przydzielacie. Powtarzam.
So the EU will continue to just try and force this on every country for just it. I mean, it's totally insane. There's a reason why rape in Poland is declining while HIV and rape is skyrocketing in the rest of Europe. Yeah. So it's quite a big difference there, isn't it? But, I mean, look, they are the indigenous people of Poland. Why are they not allowed to have a country? Right? Why? Well, they should be allowed to have a country. They're the indigenous people of that place. uh anyway, I think that's a positive. Let's see. All right. What do we got going on in New York? So they elected a commie Mamdani. New York homeless freeze to death in the icy grip of Mamdani's warmth of collectivism. So what did Mamdani say? I think we've got it in here somewhere. Hold on. I think there's somewhere in here that Mamdani is talking about the warmth of collectivism. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I've got it down here. Here we go. The warmth of collectivism.
We will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our
And by warmth, I mean you're going to freeze to death. The warmth of collectivism. So it turns out that commies lie. They lie all the time, right? Let's see. Last weekend saw at least 10 New Yorkers die in the cold, and temperatures remain glacial now. Yet the mayor's sticking by his order to cops and other city workers to leave encampments alone last weekend and not force the homeless to come in out of the deadly cold. That, my friends, is communist empathy. That's compassion. That's the warmth of collectivism. It's not that frigid, rugged individualism that built, like, obviously that built the societies with clearly the pinnacle of human well-being in all of history, and it's not even close. Even when a homeless person is clearly mentally ill, the ethic among the provider class is to make contact, extend the offer of help, and retreat. Under Mayor Eric Adams, the city had a policy of involuntary removal of homeless people with severe mental illness. But Mamdani rejects that approach because it doesn't yet lead to permanent supportive housing. And there you have it, my friends, the warmth of collectivism right there. Well, I mean, the severely mentally ill, if they do get in and they live and maybe they get some help and eventually they're not severely mentally ill anymore, he won't be able to count on their vote, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, here's Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York. New York City has just experienced what it means to have a Democrat communist mayor. The policy of New York City before, during, and after I was mayor was to remove homeless from the streets when it was approaching freezing. The incumbent mayor has changed that policy. During a recent storm, 10 people were found dead on the streets. Isn't this tantamount to, at minimum, reckless disregard for human life? Will there be any accountability? It seems like the collectivists have a lot of this reckless disregard for human life, right? The rugged individualists seem to have a little bit more concern for it for some reason. The people who see other people as individuals and not just part of some faceless identity blob tend to seem to have more compassion on an individual basis than the collectivists do. If you're a collectivist, you don't matter, and other people don't matter. So, I mean, this isn't rocket science, is it? Will there be any accountability? Of course not. Of course not. No. They're just going to enjoy all of that warmth of collectivism. That's so great. Let's see. All right. What are we talking about now? What are you guys talking about? Last Watch. How you doing, Last Watch? They are doing a new Little Hobo. First episode, the dog eats some guy's fentanyl and overdoses. Nothing would surprise me now. And of course, Little Hobo would be trans. And maybe in a dog wheelchair as well. Probably. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, I read the script. It was laced maple syrup. There you go. Let's see. I don't know what James says. Oh, geez, what commie crap. Commie crap. There you go. Let's see. Oh, Izzy says, I think he means they'll start burning bodies to keep themselves warm. Oh, brutal, but true, though. Let's see. Rosie says, I thought of you all last weekend, the Canadians, when I poured maple syrup over my whole breakfast, French toast, strawberries, and biltong. I don't know what that is. Yum. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your breakfast. All right. Now what are we doing? Let's go to, oh yeah, so here. So Bill Gates, like, okay, so Bill Gates definitely knee deep in the Epstein stuff. Robbie Starbuck, while the Epstein emails from the Department of Justice dropped, apparently they've released like 3 million pages or 3 million documents. Jeffrey sent himself emails memorializing a fight he had with Bill Gates. In it, he says that Bill Gates got STDs from Russian hookers and then asked Jeffrey for antibiotics that Bill could secretly give to Melinda without her noticing. Good Lord. So, I mean, if it's a question of character with Bill Gates, I mean, this sure don't look good. Let's see. Can we make that bigger? No. Okay. Let's see. To add insult to the injury, you then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. You also make it clear that I am not, okay. There's also more here too on the other page. Let's see. I would feel dishonest to myself and my future. Let's see. Hold on. From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of sex with Russian girls, to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments, as I am a medical doctor but have no prescriptions writing ability. So, yeah. I don't know. Is Bill Gates done? Is he done? RSN, how you doing? Bill Gates was giving us health advice, says RSN. I know. And we always knew he wasn't a doctor either. That's the thing. Let's see. All right. So, yeah, there's Bill Gates. That's all I got on that. Nothing more. Anything more would be nauseating. Like, I'm already throwing up in my mouth after having read that. Let's see. So, FBI arrested Don Lemon for the church raid. Karen Bass flew out to help him walk free without bail. This is from Mario Nafal. As she left the courthouse, someone screamed, F you, Karen Bassiter. The people are fed up. So, yes, Don Lemon was arrested. And, of course, now I guess this is now a big civil liberties thing, even though he did obviously break the law. So, and it was a Democrat law that he broke.
Step aside, please. Let the mayor come through.
Fuck you, Karen Bass! Fuck you, You're right, Mayor. You're right. Over here. There's a podium.
Hey, get over there. Don't do that over here.
Thank you.
She's getting her point across. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we've got a bit more on that, but hold on a second. So, oh, God. Mr. Snacks is, I don't know what he's eating, but hold on a second. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Oh God, Mr. Snacks likes to curl up and sit next to me while I'm doing the live stream. He's he's an extremely anti-communist dog. But I don't know. He was saving that one up. Yikes! Ugh, disgusting. All right, let's continue. I'm glad you guys didn't have to experience that. Former cable news anchor Don Lemon was arrested last night. 3 sources with direct knowledge tell CBS News. A source familiar with a grand jury was a source familiar says a grand jury was impaneled on this yesterday. FBI and HSI were involved in the arrest, sources say. It was not immediately clear what charges he would be facing. CBS News has reached out to Lemon's representatives and the Department of Justice for comment. So you have to assume it's the FACE Act. And I think that we actually have, if we go down a little bit, I think we've actually got something on the FACE Act down here. And we really have some lunatics to talk about in this bookmark, by the way. I'm pretty sure we had some. Did we have something? I thought that we did. Hold on. Oh, no, it's in here. Hold on. So it'll be in here. Hold on. Not organized. Where is it? Where is it? We had something on the FACE Act, and it's down here somewhere. There's just so much of this stuff that's been happening that it's totally clogged up with stuff. Where the hell is it? Okay, we don't. So we're going to have to go find it. Hold on. Not organized. Maybe that's a new song I should do. Let's take a look. Is there something that just... Well, this is what we're seeing here. Count 1, conspiracy against rights of religious freedom at place of worship. So that would, okay. Count 2, FACE Act, injure, intimidate, and interfere with exercise of right of religious freedom at a place of worship. So the FACE Act was a Democrat bill that was to prevent people from obstructing anybody around an abortion clinic. And then they also stuck on this thing for churches as well. So you're not allowed to go into a church or a mosque or anywhere, a synagogue, and intimidate, interfere with their religious rights. So that's a law. It's a real law. Don Lemon coordinated with the protesters who went into that church in Minnesota. He coordinated with them beforehand and then followed them in, and he was obviously a part of that protest. Clearly, he was a part of it. It's not like he just was driving down the street and then all of a sudden saw people running into a church. Now, if he had just been, going out for a jog or something with his camera and seen a bunch of protesters, lunatics running into a church to arrest those people, and he went in to document it, that would be journalism. But he met up with them beforehand, and it was coordinated with them. So you're not allowed to do that, to be a part of the protest, which he was. So what will happen to him? I'm guessing very, very little. But I'm sure this is uncomfortable enough for him. All right. Do we need anything else? I want to show you this here. ICE protesters harassed a couple while they were dining after assuming they were ICE agents. So, I want to show you something else, though, first, actually. Before we get there, I want to show you, where is she? Where is she? Okay, let's take a look at these lunatics. Colin Rugg posted this. So, the Breaking Bad star, Giancarlo Esposito, says it's time for a revolution. And apparently he's just fine with like 50 million people dying. How well would this guy do during the revolution, I wonder? I mean, it'd be pretty bad for him. He might get some blood on his scarf there, right? His $10,000 scarf. I'm sure he doesn't want that to happen. These people are living in a fantasy world. You are not any of the characters you played on TV. Let's take a look.
This is time for a revolution. It's time for it, and they don't even know that's what they're starting. You know, some very rich old white men are.
Oh, so he's racist. I'm sick of this. Are you? Are you? That doesn't mean very rich white men. Oh, fuck off. Go fuck yourself. You're rich too. Shut up.
Exerting their power to suppress our own people, thus creating a feeling of civil war in the streets, preparing the haters to hate, teaching them how to shoot. They're not even trained right, to kill. This is all a preparation for a very insidious problem that's happening in our world. And for me, I have to speak out that we will not be iced out. This is not going to happen. They can't take us all down. If the whole world showed up on Putin's doorstep or on the Iranians' doorstep or in Washington, it would they'll kill 550 million, however, but the rest of us would survive with a new. This is time for a revolution. It's time.
50 million would die, but the rest of us would survive. What does this guy, does he understand this is a communist revolution? Okay. Does he understand that he's a class enemy? Okay. They're not going to celebrate him. Okay. They're going to drag him from his mansion into the streets. These people are insane. They know nothing. They're completely historically illiterate. I thought I had a Kathy Griffin one in here too. I thought I did. That would have been here's Molly Ringwald.
Talking to you like this, unless I don't know, recommending a foundation or telling you to get your kids vaccinated against meningitis. But I feel like I can't stay silent, and neither should you.
Why isn't she blinking? What kind of drugs is she on?
There's something horrible going on in our country right now. And we have one of the greatest countries in the world. And I've always been so proud to be an American. But right now, this is a fascist government.
Because Trump is enforcing the same rules that existed under Biden, which Biden also, to a much lesser degree, enforced, but which Obama enforced quite a bit. 5 million people deported under Obama. Remember the kids in cages thing? That came from Obama. None of this from Molly Ringwald then for some reason. Let's continue, though, because it just gets crazier.
It's not becoming a fascist government. It is a fascist government. And ICE is brutalizing people. And I don't care how you identify, if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you're independent, if you don't like to be political at all, it doesn't matter. You have to look at what kind of country you want to live in. And I don't think that I need to remind you, I'll just give a little history lesson here quick. But, if you look at what happened in France, where I lived for a few years in my 20s, they were taken over by the Nazis. They were invaded. They were taking over. And
yes, we know that. We know that, Molly Ringwald. She may have just found out about that 15 minutes ago, right? She probably had no idea while she was living there, right? She probably just saw something about it on TikTok like 10 minutes ago.
And a lot of people collaborated. And then there were people that did not collaborate and were part of the resistance. Eventually, they got their country back. And those people who collaborated were found to be criminal. And
so the people right now who are enforcing the same immigration laws that has existed under the Democrat presidents that you like are collaborators. So what they're collaborating with the duly elected government enforcing established law. These people are retarded. They are retarded. Again, what, she blinks like 4 times in this whole time? What kind of drugs is she on? Good Lord. The level of stupidity. Let's see. There she is again. Hold on. So the people, by the way, the people in the streets, okay, these are the people in the streets. These are the people that the Molly Ringwalds support and the Giancarlo Espositos support, okay? What do they think they're going to thrive in the revolution? Because I think that these people you're going to see here are going to be the people, if they get what they want, if they get power, will drag the class enemies, the movie stars, the wealthy people out of their mansions into the streets and do bad things to them. That's what I think.
Oh, you can show me, but
You want to harass people, huh? No. How does it feel to be fucking harassed?
No.
So he did not deny he does work for. He does.
So this guy does not work for ICE. Okay. In fact, we need to be able to see the whole thing. So this guy does not work for ICE. He works for TSA, and he tells them, "I work for TSA."
Oh, you can show me, but
You want to harass people, huh?
No.
How does it feel to be fucking harassed?
No.
So he did not deny he does work for. He did not deny it.
we're from TSA.
He did not. Look. Fucking matter. How does it fucking feel? He did not deny it. He did not deny it. How does it fucking feel to be harassed?
Look.
How does it fucking feel?
That's you.
How does it feel?
Look.
How does it
Look, he said it. He said it was him. He said it was him.
How does it feel to be
He said it. He confirmed it is you. He confirmed. He confirmed.
He told you he doesn't work for ICE. These people are morons. Okay. You do not want a society where these people are calling the shots. They don't care who he is. They've just identified somebody. It doesn't matter. Again, these are all collectivists. These are all Marxists. All right. They don't care about an individual. An individual doesn't mean anything. All that matters is the revolution. Okay. You're not guilty. They don't care. They got to make an example out of somebody. You'll do. You're just a faceless cog in a giant machine to them anyway, right?
Look. They confirmed that. He confirmed. He did confirm.
They're just lying. Just like he confirmed. Blowing the fucking whistle. These people are lunatics. Anybody who supports this is a retard. Just a straight up retard. Just an utter and total moron. Okay, you should not be supporting these people unless you're insane. Does anybody want to live in a society where that's the norm? It's just madness. I mean, and the only thing that will make these people happy is open borders and nobody ever gets deported, ever, including rapists, murderers, cartel people. Because, I mean, they literally don't want anybody deported. The ICE agents tell them who they're going to get, and they say, we don't care. Just total pure lunacy. Just a guy. Now, he shouldn't be walking out there with them because this could turn very bad very quickly. And it will eventually, as this is encouraged by people like Tim Walz and other Democrats and news personalities. But he should not be out talking with these people. This stuff could go very bad. It's on a razor's edge right now. All right. Let's see. Why is that giving me something from... Oh, wait a second. Why is it giving me stuff from September? Hold on. Do we have anything else here? All right, let's just move on. Actually, hold on. Got that. We got that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Nice work, Trump. Good. That AI, though, it's getting crazy. I'm not sure I like how much AI is getting good. Let's see. We already saw this where they gave him the makeover to try and make him more handsome for those white liberal women. Ugh. Just, I don't know. It's all just madness, isn't it? All right. What do we got here? Hold on. Get back up to the top. Actually, I will just do this. So Glenn Beck posted this, and Tim Walz just threatened Tom Homan that Minnesota could have a Fort Sumter John Brown moment if he doesn't reduce ICE presence. So what is he actually threatening? Civil war? Like, this is no longer protest talk, says Glenn Beck. He's implicitly saying this could be the opening shot of a bloody organized resistance against federal authority. Well, he's a communist, Tim Walz. Right? He's a teacher in China for a long time. He used to give his students Mao's Little Red Book. He's a communist.
This is really important what he said. Listen.
And at this point in time, I told Tom, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But unless I see a reduction in these folks on the streets, I'm going to have to say that to my folks. So look, we all think we all want to avoid that. But I think the reality has sunk in this week. If you thought you could pass this by and you thought there was nothing there, I mean, is this a Fort Sumter, John Brown moment? Where are we at on this? And we're doing everything right. And I have said it time and time again. The way you win this is
Stop. We're doing everything right. Is this a Fort Sumter, John?
Okay, but from his perspective as a communist revolutionary, he is, right? So when Rene Good or that Pretty guy get killed, that's good for him. Right, that's good, great publicity. They're really getting a lot of mileage out of that. He wants that to happen. If he didn't, he would say, do not get in the way, do not interfere with law enforcement. If they're trying to arrest you, just cooperate. If he didn't want people to get hurt and killed, he would say that. He doesn't want that. He wants them to get killed. It's the same tactics as Hamas. Right? What they do is they will film one of these revolutionaries, one of these far leftists, harassing, bothering, attacking, some sort of law enforcement. And then when there's a reaction, that's the part of the video they show. They don't show the beginning part. They just edit the part and they say, look, I'm innocent. They'll put their hands up at the last minute, right? So that it looks like they're just getting attacked for no reason. This is a strategy. They do this all the time, right? Look, we've seen the video from, the Pretty and from Rene Good. It's clear. It's pretty clear. This was not just law enforcement hunting people. But if Tim Walz didn't want people to get killed, he would tell them, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. He doesn't. He says he's proud of them. They have looked at Hamas tactics and said, that works. Let's do that. And if you're a communist revolutionary, well, everybody's there's no individuals. You're just a big part of some identity blob or class blob or something, right? You don't matter. It's all about the collective. It's so obvious. I don't know anybody can't see this, right? If they didn't want it to happen, they would say, do not do what these people did. Do not drive into an ICE officer. Do not interfere with CBP or just any law enforcement, especially when you're armed. They're not saying that, and I think it's obvious because they see it as a media win. The clips will all be edited. It'll go out. It's great propaganda for them. And that sounds cynical, but yeah, I think these people are cynical. Here he is. Assault me, motherfucker. Alex Pretty on January 13th, trying to get injured by federal officers. This is what I'm talking about, where they try to get assaulted, right? And then the video was cut, just the part where there's the retaliation. It's the reaction is the action. That's their strategy.
Fuck you guys! Fucking trash! Fucking trash! Look at you! Pepper spray, bitch! Fucking assault me, motherfucker!
They say assault me. He wants to get assaulted. That's the thing. It's part of their strategy. They're trained in this, okay? This has now become a sophisticated operation. With after Signal Gate, we know this is all very sophisticated. They're trained. They have shifts. He's on shift there. He's trying to get assaulted. He wants to get assaulted for the propaganda win. Like, none of the leadership of this insurrectionist movement is sad that he got killed. They're all happy, guaranteed. They're all thrilled about it. They want more. This is why they're telling mothers to bring their kids now, because they want it to be even worse. When I say they're like Hamas, I'm not kidding. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the, we'll do the meme reviews. Look at that. That's an offensive flag right there. We'll do the meme reviews, but let's go back to the chat for a minute. Let's see. Rosie says, Richie, you may be too harsh. She did blink once. Let's see. Judo Survivor says, Molly has one famous movie, The Breakfast Club. She's irrelevant. She is. It's a way for them to get relevance again. Sambot says, Giancarlo was great in The Usual Suspects. Well, he was great in Breaking Bad. He's a good actor. I just think that he's drinking his own Kool-Aid. They start to think they are as interesting and as brave as the characters they play. Let's see. Rosie says, did you guys cover the passing of Catherine O'Hara yet? No, we haven't. I don't have anything on it tonight. Let's see. Well, Spamgut's got a link here. Let me take a look. Hold on. Copy. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Paste. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm not going to read that one. Sorry. Sorry. Don't feel like getting my channel nuked tonight. So we'll skip that one. Let's see. Radio Streamer says these people are insane. Last Watch says they are brainwashed into dialectical thinking, and yes, that's correct. They're all Marxists. Dame Pam says, meanwhile, they want to harm anyone that disagrees with them. Yes, they're Marxists. Don't make me repeat myself. Hold on. Give me a second, you guys. Last Watch says Pretty was a hoax psyop. He was trying to create something for propaganda, right? As we saw in the earlier video of him spitting at the ICE officer and kicking the car, kicking the taillight off, saying, assault me, assault me. He's trying to insert himself in for propaganda purposes, right? So when he gets taken down, then they'll cut the beginning part, just show the end part, and say, look, they're brutalizing innocent people. And so, yeah, it's PSYOP is part of what they're doing, right? Let's see. Seems like Last Watch has a bit of an obsession going on here. Maybe you should, Last watch my video on Soviet zombie propaganda regarding all of the anti-Zionist language that you hear now, all the people obsessed with Israel and all the anti-Zionism is the same language that the Soviets were using in the 50s in their active measures to try and destabilize the United States. So everybody repeats that stuff. It's just copying Soviet zombie propaganda. So that's how I feel about it on this channel. And I don't play 6 Degrees of Zionism or Spot the Jew because it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm just telling you, it seems to be a bit of an obsession happening. Let's see. Let's see. Spambot says, I watched the first 15 minutes of Breaking Bad. My sister gave me the DVD of the whole thing. I read the liner notes and turned it off. Why doesn't that surprise me from Spambot? The curmudgeon. It is actually really good, Spambot. I'm telling you, give it another chance. It's actually a really, really great show. Let's see. Did Rosie put in... has Rosie got a link monkey? Here we go. All right, let's check it out. Oh, here we go. Catherine O'Hara. We'll save this for Monday because that will definitely, in fact, I probably just got copyrighted for that, showing that without sound for 2 seconds. So we'll save that for Monday for the premium stream. All right, let's see. Nevada, you guys talking about cell phones? Nevada's saying I tend to buy the latest Moto when it comes on sale. I've had different phones, and I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. All right. I don't know. Are we back to this whole thing in the chat again? I thought we were over this. All right. All right. Let's just move on. I'm very disappointed, but I can't control everybody. I can't tell everybody what to think. People have a right to think what they want. But I got to tell you, I'm disappointed. All right. Actually, hold on a second. We're still talking about Catherine O'Hara. She was great. And the original SCTV, it was her best work ever. Rosie says she was great. So funny that here I just realized from all the announcements that Moira was also Kevin's mom. The mild face blindness strikes again. Reason unknown. Yeah, Nevada says Catherine passed this morning. Reason unknown. She was 71. Let's see. Ottawa James 71. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. Let's see. I'm accused of being a coward for not being down with everything is Jewish people. All right. Makes perfect sense. That's the only reason. It's the only reason you wouldn't be obsessed to the point with every second chat is about Jews. The only reason why you wouldn't be is because you're a coward. Sure. Let's see. I don't like the 6 Degrees of Zionism, and I don't like Spot the Jew. I don't have any problem with Jews. So, wrong place for that. Lots of places to go and do that. Let's see. Ottawa James says, yes, SCTV, she rocked. She was great. Let's see. Spambot says SCTV was great. Rosie says, what is SCTV? You're kidding me. Well, actually, do you remember we showed you that one Halfwits that had like Martin Short in it and Eugene Levy? And actually, Catherine O'Hara was in that as well. It was on one of the premium streams. All right. Anyway, let's Rosie says just broke 100 on X. We got 100 people watching over on X. Well, that's pretty good. We don't get that very often. Nice. Very nice. All right. So let's do a meme review. Why women get L's posted this. What's this? Remember to connect male to female. So there's electricians here. Why assign gender roles to electrical connections? Let the circuits decide their own identities. And boom, fire. The thing is, though, is that this is increasingly the real world where political correctness interferes with just basics, right? Where you've got, doctors, health professionals who literally they're afraid of just stating what a man or a woman is in reality. I mean, this stuff is, it's going to end up affecting healthcare along the way, at least for people that are confused about what they are, right? It has to. It's just complicating things needlessly. And also catering to delusions, right? Pretending they're real. That's the kind of energy that leads to people ignoring other things that are real, that could end up being dangerous in the long haul. Look up Lysenkoism, right? Lysenkoism, an ideological, a Marxist ideological approach to agriculture in the Soviet Union, and boom, millions of people starved to death. This is why I'm saying political correctness is dangerous. When you have people that don't want to fit their ideology into the world, they want to fit the world into their ideology, and they're very happy to break the world in the process. Okay? That's what this is. Let's see. Don't even tell me if you drive one of these cars. So what's this? Wisconsin couple were treated at a local hospital emergency room. Okay. A Wisconsin couple were treated at a local hospital emergency room after their smart car collided with a squirrel on Highway 81. The squirrel refused treatment and left the scene. That's why I don't want to drive one of these things. Death traps. You hit a squirrel, that's it. Game over. And the squirrel is inconvenienced. Who published this? Sarah Sizzle. Let's see. We don't eat eggs, meat, fish, dairy, or gluten. What would you recommend? A taxi. That's the only correct answer. The only correct answer. We don't eat eggs, meat, fish, dairy. I mean, what is left for you in life at that point? What's even the point of going on, of ever eating again? No, thank you. Let's see. Kimmy posted this. Rapunzel, let down your hair. That's okay, never mind. He didn't see the hair. Then he saw the hair and he went, no, that's a red flag right there. Red flag, not worth it. More trouble than it's worth. More trouble than it's worth. I'll just keep moving on. No, it's okay. Wrong tower. Sorry. Let's see. Salty Goat put this one out. Let's see. Do you know you can combine 4 pride flags to make the Ultra Pride? Oh, seems familiar somehow. Huh. Let's see. Betty posted this. When you are single and told there are plenty of fish in the sea, these are the fish. Oh, God. Better to just be alone. Better to just be alone than with the middle one. Ugh. But I think it's pretty much true. And then if you just put Christmas sweaters on all of them, that's it. It's perfect. No thanks. Everybody makes mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Jesse Smollett is making sense there. Making great sense. All right. What's this? My give a fuck gland was surgically removed. I don't give a fuck for medical reasons. That's the best reason I've heard so far. I don't give a fuck for medical reasons. It's doctor's orders. I like it. Look at this happy family. See? Not giving a fuck makes for happy families. All right. That kid's got a bright future. Let's see. Nice try, Mom. Oh, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. That's not delicious at all. I mean, the thing is, McDonald's is delicious for 10 seconds, and then you feel like you're going to die, and you regret every decision you've ever made in your life. But for like 10 seconds while you're eating it, it's good. I would say until 10 seconds after you've eaten it, it's great. Then you just regret your entire life. It's over. Let's see. Dear Tim Walsh, wouldn't it be easy to just say to everyone to obey the law and let ICE do their job peacefully? Your rhetoric has cost 2 lives so far. Resign. Tim Walsh wants people to die for the cause. It's good for propaganda purposes. This is why he's not telling anybody to stop what they're doing, to not do the things that are likely to get you shot, to not engage, to not obstruct, to not fight with ICE. Definitely don't drive your car into them. The reason he's not telling people to do that is because he wants them to do it, right? That's why he says he's proud of them and he's thrilled with everything that's happening. He wants his own people to die for propaganda because he thinks it will help his revolution, which is really cynical. And yeah, it is. Let's see. I'm dying. Let's see. Breaking news. Many liberal women suffer frostbite on their foreskins while protesting ice and sub-zero temperatures. Well, that's the tough part, right? Minneapolis hospitals swamped by liberal women reporting frozen foreskins. What do you do about that? I don't know. Let's see. If you belong in this bathroom and you follow my daughter or my wife into this bathroom, you're going to need this bathroom. Tough but fair. Oh, no. Let's have a sing-along. Oh, God. I fought the law and the law won. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, no. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right, let's move on. Oh, all right. What are you guys talking about? Let's go back to the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, a long time ago, they tried to eliminate the word master as in master bedroom. Master versus slave. Hard. Yeah. I made a video about that, specifically the master bedroom one. Just that was really in the midst and in the height of the Cultural Revolution. Let's see. Rosie says that is very hopeful of the idiot woman in the meme. Usually what electricity chooses is the path of least resistance. Not a faraway boom. It would probably have chosen to go through her. Rosie says, have you ever seen an arc flash video? Horrible. Yeah. Well, they're pointing out the absurdity of just how far political correctness has gone. The absurd lengths of it. Streamer says they forgot Rapunzel having a nose ring. True. Let's see. All right. Rosie says, I'm so glad you announced who is in the memes. I never knew who they are. Smollett Zelensky in line the other night. LOL. Well, for those who don't know, Rosie has face blindness. So she's not kidding. She literally has no idea who the people in the memes are. Let's see. So we do that. Let's see. Let's see. Radio Streamer says Big Apple Cider paid Omar for that spot on her speech. What happened there? Radio Streamer, but the spray gate. What happened there? Was that a setup or what? I mean, it looked like the guy was drunk. Then I heard the guy has Parkinson's. His wife was like a huge, like, lefty as well. And like it looked like he was as well. But I don't know what happened there. I mean, maybe she said it. Maybe she smulleted herself. Let's see. What is going on here? We got another one from spam here. Let's take a look. So what is this? Recognize the warning signs of a far-right extremist. Full-time employment, literacy, loves his family and country, common sense, obeys the law. You know, these are pretty good rules for not getting shot by law enforcement, by the way. So, yeah, I think you're right, Spambot. Radio Stream says it was a setup. He was in multiple pictures with her and looks like he went out of the way to spray something harmless and miss her face after a signal to walk up and do it. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong, but maybe it might have just been a guy, you know, who's, didn't his wife leave him? I think his wife left him, and I don't know. I mean, it's weird that now if it had been me, I would have immediately been demanding water, like buckets of water to wash whatever that shit was off me. I would have been, it seems a bit strange to me, but I'm not sure that Ilhan Omar is all that bright, quite frankly. Let's see. All right. So where are we now? Oh, yeah, we did that. So let's talk about Alberta independence. And I am so sick of this. Like, personally, I would like to see Canada stay in one piece, but I think that the wishes of Albertans should be respected. If they want to leave, they should be able to. And in fact, by law, constitutionally, they are. It should be up to them. Okay. But I'm sick of seeing this deranged depiction and description of them in the mainstream media. It's just so dishonest. And here we go. So here's CBC. Here's Chantal Hebert talking about it. She starts off okay, and then she, of course, gets into the propaganda. Let's start.
Then there is the Alberta things. I should say, because I covered a previous referendum, that the U.S. back then did have conversations with people from the Parti Québécois and the sovereigntist movement.
Yes, right now they're freaking out because everybody just immediately forgets 1980, 1995, separatism, referendums, Quebec. Everybody just forgets about this. But everybody's freaking out because of secret Alberta meetings with the Trump administration. Well, I mean, not quite so secret as I'll show you, but anyway, let's continue. And she's saying here that, yes, the Quebec separatists also had meetings with other countries, including the United States. But let's continue.
To inform their analysis of what was happening. I will also say that the context is very different this time.
Here we go. The context is very different this time. Very different, because it's Alberta.
There's never been any sympathy on the part of Quebec sovereigntists for becoming parts of the U.S., and
there's no interest in the Alberta separatists in becoming part of the U.S. Why don't you actually just talk to some of them? Your media, your journalists, right? Talk to some of them, but just look at what they're saying. They are saying explicitly they do not want to be part of the United States. They want to be an independent country. How do you not know that? Are you just lying?
Never been interest on the part of an administration in the U.S. for annexing part of Canada. So we're somewhere else completely.
I'm so sick of these lies. Everything I'm seeing from Alberta separatists is that they want to be an independent country. They don't want to be part of the United States. How do these people not know that? Or do they know it? They probably do know it. They don't want to say it for obvious reasons, because it's Alberta, and Albertans are bad rednecks. So, the secret meetings. Let's see. Well, I remember this from October 29th, 2025. We've met with senior Trump officials. They support Alberta's independence, not as America's 51st state, but as a free and sovereign nation. The world is watching the Alberta independence movement. The secret meetings that they talk about openly in public.
I need to tell each and every one of you that there is ample support, if not enthusiastic support, for this project. There is ample support, enthusiastic support for Alberta becoming an independent country. Now, I know some members of our movement favor the 51st state. We are not a 51st state movement. We are an independent Alberta movement.
There you have it. The big secret from months ago that was open in public in front of a large crowd. Wow. But look at this. Of course, this is treason from Terry Glavin with Chinese symbols there. So we know we can trust him. That's the proper word for it. Trump officials met group pushing Alberta independence from Canada, just like Quebec did. Let's see, but it's treason this time. What's this? October 3rd, 2025. Table Salt posted this. The Trump administration is having meetings about Alberta independence and would recognize an independent Alberta. Secret meetings that are out in the open for months. Nice. I mean, it's so gross, this level of propaganda. So what do we got here? CBC Watcher. CBC's Ian Henneman sings hurt feelings about words from Trump, trying to justify Eby's accusation of treason. Well, that's right. So David Eby, the premier, the commie premier of British Columbia, is saying that the Alberta separatists are treasonous. It's treason. Let's hear this.
Parlance in calling this treason or good old-fashioned treason. As lawyers, we try to be careful with our words, and we try to talk judiciously, and we try to talk conservatively. So it looks like he's made the switch from lawyer to politician quite well. But yeah, I am a little surprised with respect to this choice of words and parlance in that respect.
Now, he's talking about Canadians, Albertans, who have gone down to the United States, met with government officials, contemplating what might happen if there were a referendum, if there were a vote for Alberta to leave Canada, and what would happen after that. How would you describe that conduct?
Well, it would be more aptly described as citizen diplomacy. There is in other countries. So, for example, in the United States, they do have an act called the Logan Act, which criminalizes actions of citizens who go and conduct diplomacy without the proper authorities of the United States. So I would say it's unauthorized diplomacy, but there's no law against it in Canada. We do not have the equivalent of the Logan Act here in Canada.
One of the reasons we wanted to talk to you is that you do have expertise as a criminal defense lawyer, but you're also an Albertan. And so wear that hat for us for a moment. Less a lawyer, more a resident, a citizen of Canada, resident of Alberta. What kind of impact do you think Eby's words, if any, will have in your province?
Well, contrary to what a lot of people think, a large portion of the separatist movement are not radicals. They're not radicals. They're not extremists. They're not militia people. They're ordinary working people that, are just kind of frustrated with the Federation. And Eby's comments really, I think, are just going to harden those soft separatists into almost a game on sort of mentality. And I don't think it does any good for him to be throwing out the treason word, or we're going to prosecute you, or you're going to be going to jail. You know, offering up concessions to these individuals and meeting them halfway is probably the better approach.
But Greg, you know, at this moment in time, when Trump keeps saying such damaging things about Canadian sovereignty, I think the idea that there are separatists in Alberta who are willing to meet with the American government, that there are others who are, you know, waving an Alberta flag instead of a Canadian flag, I think it really disturbs a lot of other people across the country.
Oh, he's just not letting it go, is he? Just not letting it go. Well, he works for the CBC. That's his job. That's his job. Try and crap up. Well, I mean, he's gotten his orders from his producer, right? What he's supposed to, you know, how he's supposed to frame it, and he's doing that. And we know that this is what's happening because they all do it. They all do it the same. So let's move on. So here's David Eby talking about treason. It's treason, but not in Quebec. When Quebec does it, it's not treason. But Alberta, when they do it, it's treason because they're conservative there.
I'd like to just take and pause a moment. I read an article last night in the Financial Times about a group of people from Alberta, I won't describe them as Albertans, who went to the White House seeking the assistance of the United States.
Just the contempt these people have. Ugh. These far leftists. This guy giving away people's homes in giving away title of people's homes in British Columbia. I mean, I won't describe them as Albertans. Ugh. Just so gross. They're just not hiding it anymore, is the thing. They're not hiding it anymore. They are just absolute ideologues who are just very happy to dehumanize anybody who disagrees with them, just like Trudeau. Remember Trudeau? Oh, I won't call them journalists, talking about, you know, independent press. I won't even call them protesters, talking about the Freedom Convoy. They're not hiding it, just their level of dehumanization. These are the compassionate ones, people. These are the people with all the empathy. Don't forget.
To break up our country. Now, I understand the desire to hold a referendum, to talk about the issues you want to talk about in Canada. We got free speech, that's important. But to go to a foreign country and to ask for assistance in breaking up Canada, there's an old-fashioned word for that, and that word is treason. It is completely inappropriate to seek to weaken Canada, to seek to go and ask for assistance to break up this country from a foreign power. And with respect, a president who...
Is that what they were asking? Or were they just going into like pre-negotiations for like when we become an independent country, you know, what kind of relationship are we going to have? You know, like Quebec did, which you don't care about. That doesn't matter to you. Just when Alberta does it. I mean, these people are cretins. It's just, this is why Canada is falling apart, right? And the separatism is, the separatist sympathies are back up in Quebec again, right? Canada is falling apart. It's falling apart because of people like you. Anyway, treason. Ugh. Really? Well, what about Mark Carney with China? Maybe there's a bit of treason there. Let's see. Interfering in our last three elections, interfered in the Liberal leadership race to Mark Carney's benefit. You want to talk about treason? You want to talk about treason? The guy, Mark Carney, the guy who like a few months before he became prime minister got a $250 million loan from a Chinese state bank, a CCP bank. You want to talk about treason? Secret Chinese police stations in Canada, bounties on Canadians' heads, taking Canadians as political prisoners, as hostages. You want to talk about treason? Going off after all of this and announcing a new strategic security partnership with China? You want to talk about treason? These people are cretins. Ugh. Just gross. Let's see. Hold on. They got a little bit more in here. So let's listen to this. Rise of Alberta posted this. 3-hour lineups don't happen by accident. Let's take a look. And keep in mind, I'd like to see Canada stay together, but I think that the separatists are being treated very unfairly.
But we've all seen the incredible lineups. I've spoken with a number of people who have been in those lineups. And I have a close friend, a family friend that I've known all my life. And I talked to him the other day and he said to me, he said, you know what, Keith, you know, I never stand in a line for anything. But then he went on to tell me how he stood in a line for almost 3 hours. And it was one of the most moving, he said, rewarding, intense, awesome experiences of his life. He said the resolve of everybody in that line. There was handicapped people. There was people with walkers, elderly, all demographics. The camaraderie, the friendships that he made in that line, the energy and the excitement. That's an indicator we're gonna do this. We're going to achieve it. But we've all seen the incredible lineups. I've spoken with a number of people who have been in those lineups. And I have a close friend, a family friend that I've known all my life. And I talked to him the other day and he said to me, he said, you know what, Keith, you know, I never stand in a line.
All right. So, and was there one more thing in here? Let's take a look. We already did those cretins. We did this. We did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. Oh, I wanted to show Danielle Smith. All right. So I want to see what she has to say here. And I really like Danielle Smith. I think she's the best premier in Canada by far. And I think that her tone on separatism is a good tone. I think, like Pierre's, I think it's the right tone, actually.
Let me just support Premier Eby and his comments about C-14. We think that's very important to get past. We've also, when he called for the Lawrence Bishonois gang to be declared a terrorist group, we also agreed to that. I'm glad he's open to expanding the interties. We look forward to selling him some more excess solar and wind power. And as you can see, we've got lots of things that we can work on together. I've always been clear that me and our United Conservative Caucus are supportive of a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. That is one of the bills that we passed when I first came in. But I think we also have to be realistic that 10 years under Justin Trudeau's government, our province was relentlessly attacked. Our economy was relentlessly attacked, not only for our economy, but our provincial rights and also our personal freedoms and our way of life. And so when you look at the polls, they suggest as many as 30% of Albertans have lost hope. That's about 1 million people. And I'm not going to demonize or marginalize a million of my fellow citizens when they've got legitimate grievances. What we need to do is we need to give Albertans hope. We need to show them, not just tell them, not just words, but with actions that Canada can work. And that's what I've been doing. That's why I signed an agreement with the Prime Minister in November so that we could work in common cause on correcting some of the mistakes, I would say, of the Trudeau government. And it's why we participate in these kinds of First Ministers conferences so that we can find the things that we agree on and work together for that, for the betterment of the country. And I think this is a very powerful table that has been able to do that for the last 3 years that I've been on it. And I'm honored and delighted to be here.
Yeah, I totally believe her in what she's saying here. And what I read from that is that she would like Canada to stay one country, but she's not going to stand in the way of what Albertans want. And if Albertans vote to separate, she's not going to stand in their way. That's what I read into this. Right. And if Carney actually cares about democracy, apparently all the Liberals really care about democracy, right? If they really did, they wouldn't either. Let's see. Bruce McGonigal says the defeated-looking Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she looks forward to supplying British Columbia with wind and solar energy. No mention of any pipeline. Well, she's got the option of putting a pipeline through the States, right? So I guess maybe she's just resigned to that's what's going to happen. All right. What do we got here? All right. So Canada. things are going so great after 10 years of infinite empathy and compassion and liberalism. Major breaking. The city of Surrey, BC, has admitted it's lost control. The mayor and the city council is asking for the feds to declare a state of emergency to deal with the Indian gang extortion crisis. Welcome to 2026. We're losing entire cities. Well, let's see. Neither Trudeau nor Carney campaigned on this. But it seems like they're perfectly fine with it for some reason. It's truly bizarre. There has to be some line where reality asserts itself to liberal voters, where they go, okay, I can't just keep voting liberal because Rosemary Barton's teleprompter told me that Pierre Poilievre's mean or something, right? Or it's just deeply unfashionable to vote for the Conservatives. You know, we actually kind of do need some sanity at some point. I mean, look, you've got Surrey, British Columbia, saying they need a state of emergency because of the crime. This is Canada, people. That's not normal for Canada. Something is clearly amiss.
And Surrey City Council is calling on Ottawa to declare the extortion crisis in Surrey a federal emergency. Mayor Brenda Locke brought forward the motion at a public hearing at City Hall last night, saying the crime and violence has escalated beyond local law enforcement's ability to respond.
We have to take a look at an awful lot of things to make sure we're doing this in a very holistic way, because this is absolutely just causing extreme concern, fear, and as has noted, alleged retaliation. And that is going to take us to another place.
So far this year, Surrey has recorded at least 35 reports of extortion-related shootings.
Geez, it's almost like third world stuff happening in Canada for some reason. How could that happen? How could you end up with all kinds of like Indian gang extortion? How do you end up with Indian gang and how do you end up with an Indian gang extortion crisis in Canada? How could that happen? What could you do to create an Indian gang extortion crisis in Canada, in a Canadian city? I guess it just happened by accident, I guess. All right, maybe we can leave. All right, we'll just leave that. Let's move on. We're going 2 hours, 23 minutes. All right, I was hoping to do a short one tonight. I guess no such luck. Let's see. All right, so we should be getting the results of the news update. Pierre got 87.4%. All right, let's look it up. Thank you, Ottawa James. All right, hold on. All right. Actually, I'll just go to I'll go to CBC News. Hold on. CBC News. All right, it's probably like on like page 80. Oh no, they got it right at the front there. Hold on. Let's see. Counting underway live updates. Well, how do I get the live updates? So you can't click on the live updates? All right, maybe we'll try somewhere else. Maybe this is it. Pierre Poilievre wins leadership review with 87.4% approval. There we go. It's the right choice. Nice. I was saying earlier, I was watching the CBC coverage before the speech, and they had already moved the goalposts. They got there, they realized they were hoping it would be in the 70s, because that was the talk before. Well, if it's only in the 70s or low 70s, maybe the high 60s, that's really bad for Pierre, because he's terrible at everything and everybody hates Pierre, right? Right, Canadians? And then right before the speech, they moved the goalposts and said, well, you'd think that he'd get like 95% or 92%. I mean, it's really pathetic at this point. trying to set it up as a disappointment if he gets less than 95% approval. It's actually breathtaking, their cynicism and their dishonesty. So 87.4% approval. That's very high. That's very high. I'm sure that's probably more than even Pierre was counting on. Very good. And it was a good speech, a really good speech. At times it was quite moving. It wasn't a revolutionary speech. It was, well, it wasn't reinventing the wheel. Mark Carney has reinvented the wheels that that Canada is running on, and he's made them square. Pierre Poilievre isn't reinventing the wheel. Pierre Poilievre isn't reinventing the wheel. He wants round wheels, right? Round wheels because they work better. Just normal, pragmatic stuff that's going to affect Canadians on, in a kitchen table kind of way. Right now, of course, there's more than that. He wants to get rid of the censorship. He wants Canadians to experience the level of freedom that Canadians were accustomed to before Trudeau and his, Emergencies Act and all of that. But a lot of it is just get back to the kitchen table stuff and just reality. He put out, his statement on the Carney speech a few days ago, and I thought that was very sensible and pragmatic as well. It's like, yeah, we got to diversify and stuff, but look, we're right next to the United States. Like, that's 80% of our trade. Like, we're going to have to work that out. Like, no talk of no fanciful speeches about Canada leading the middle powers in a revolt. Like, no, this stuff is all ludicrous. He's just sticking with the stuff that makes sense, pragmatic, anybody can understand. And it's just like, look, if you just give up your luxury politics, okay, we can start fixing this stuff. That's the right move. All right. Let's see. So anyway, that's good. Let's go to the chat. I've been neglecting you guys for far too long. Let's see. What do we got? Faith over fear. How you doing? Says Alberta won't separate if government gives what Alberta demands. Well, I think it's fair to say that the separatist sentiment would be much less had Pierre Poilievre won. If Pierre Poilievre was true to his word and was, was prime minister as an actual conservative. Now, we don't know. If he wins the next election, we don't know. Right now, it's a matter of faith, really, and it is with any politician until they get in power. I'm leaning towards, I think he's serious, but we'll have to see. But I do think that there would still be a separatist movement in Alberta, even if Pierre Poilievre had won, and even if he was great, but it would be much less, I think. Could be wrong, but that's just what I think. Let's see. Dame Pam says, EB wants to give our homes and lands away to others. It's no wonder people want to separate. Well, I mean, it's just total mad. BC is just a madhouse, and it's a disgrace that Carney has not addressed the land title issue in BC. It's an absolute disgrace. This could completely bankrupt Canada, by the way. Let's see. Spambot says, I'm just waiting for some politician or pundit to accuse an individual a traitor for supporting Alberta independence. They risk libel, slander, lawsuits. Well, in Canada, I mean, I think every institution is so politicized, it's so captured at this point. Although there are bright spots, like the courts found the Emergencies Act to be unconstitutional, and that's a surprise. So it's not completely over yet, right? Let's see. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Mental Health, how you doing? Good to see you. Mark Carney is a very toxic man and a stain on the beautiful Canadian people. I could not agree more, my friend. Absolutely. All right. Radio streamers. Radio streamer says he likes an armed population. Well, in Surrey now, there's a huge amount of people getting their PAL licenses, their gun licenses in Canada because of the extortion. So this could all, this gun buyback thing could backfire badly, actually, as people feel more and more insecure as the crime just continues. Let's see. Mental Health says, rest in peace and power, Catherine O'Hara. Yeah, it's very sad. She was great. One of the greatest comedic actresses of all time. And I love her from the SCTV stuff. She was brilliant. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Radio streamer says, am I the only one that feels an ad coming on? You probably are. Let me see if it's worth it for me. Probably not. Not really, to be honest. Not really. I might save my energy. Well, not really. I mean, not at all. So, radio streamer says, Daddy Richie needs that 74 cents. If only it were 74 cents. I'd do it for 74 cents. Spambot says, Canada cannot fix it. Spambot says, Alberta must leave. I'm not totally black-pilled on Canada yet. I'm not. The day may come, but I'm not totally yet. I mean, if it becomes clear that Eastern Canada has just become New York or California, at that point, it's like, well, you know, it's not going to get better at that point, right? They'll never turn around, or it'll take decades for them to get to be, for Canada to become like Argentina or something. But even then, it's not a guarantee. Let's see. There's a link above. Let's see. Rosie link. All right, let's take a look. Copy. Let's see. Paste. Let's get a look at this link. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We didn't do a they them energy tonight. Why do we have to do this now? Like, this is absolutely totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. I'm not happy about this at all, but okay, I'll tell you what, if you have to see this, Rosie, I will play it. But I'm telling you now, this is, against protocol right now. This is not the proper time for this. Right? It's supposed to be after a they them energy clip. So I'm totally not happy about this, but I will play it for you, Rosie. I will play this. Okay, we will see this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not happy.
So the word on the street is Todd Howell, 30 years at Channel 10. Do you know how hard that is to believe? I just can't wrap my head around it, as we say in the business. But it's been a great 30 years. I can remember like it was yesterday when Todd Howell gave his first weather forecast and said, up here in Texas, I finally figured out where Texas was. So, but I thought maybe this isn't for him. But turns out it was.
And on a totally unrelated thing here, there's a thing of chocolate cake for some reason. I don't know why this is on the screen. No idea whatsoever. Anyway, so everybody knows, I added last night, I stayed up late and added a very special Todd Howell emoji for that those who are channel members have access to. So just so you know, you can get that Todd Howell emoji. It's now for members. I did last night. I stayed up all night working on it as well. And there's also a Link Monkey one as well. There we go. All right, Rosie. There he is. God damn it. No more chocolate. Why we like what is the thing with chocolates? What? All right, let's take a look. We'll do this. All right. All right, let me check it out. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay, paste in. I mean, I don't know what I'm really. Is this why people show up here? Is to see chocolate? Is that what people say? People come here just to see chocolate. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? So we already just did that chocolate cake from Rosie there, which is totally inappropriate, by the way, for us to do it right now. It is not the time in the show we do anything chocolate, do like candies and stuff, chocolate chip cookies, and absolutely not appropriate, right? And this is even worse, quite frankly. I can't believe that you sent me this link. I cannot believe it. I thought that I do you better. I thought you were better than this, quite frankly. But okay, you guys send in the links to the Link Monkey, and the Link Monkey plays them. Fetch my link, Link Monkey. Post haste. Sure. Well, here you go. You want it so bad. Here you go. Here's your precious chocolate link.
So the word on the street is Todd Howe, 30 years at Channel 10. Do you know how hard that is to believe? I just can't wrap my head around it, as we say in the business. But it's been a great 30 years. I can remember like it was yesterday when Todd Howe gave his first weather forecast and said, up here in Texas, I finally figured out where Texas was. So, but I thought maybe this isn't for him. But turns out it was.
And then there's this chocolate goat thing. So I don't know. That's $15. What the hell? You guys so crazy. So crazy. Let's take a look. I mean, it's a nice looking chocolate goat, I will say. Not sure I've ever seen a chocolate goat before. Got the little white chocolate beard there and the horns. That's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I don't even really care. So whatever. Let's see. Rosie says, I did not break the rules. It is irrelevant. Oh, it is relevant. I did not break the rules. It is relevant. Cake to celebrate Albertan independence. Well, they're not independent yet. And Radio Baloney is not separating from Canada. So I'm sorry, but not appropriate. Unless Radio Baloney moves back to Alberta. Then I will be separating from Canada. So I'm sorry, Rosie. What I make you put up with. It's terrible. Let's see. I'm sorry, radio streamer. You know the rules. It's Tuesdays. Let's see. All right. Rosie says, cute goat probably does not smell like other goats. Wouldn't that be terrible if it actually stank like a goat? Like a great looking chocolate, tasted awesome, but stank like goat. That would be bad. All right. How do we get on that? All right. What are we doing? Yeah, city. Yeah, crime out of control in Canada. What's new? What's going on here? I don't think I want to bother watching that one right now. Snap election in Canada. I don't know. I don't think we need to get into. I think we've covered all of that, haven't we? This we've covered. Done all the pure Poilievre stuff. Let's get to the last one. We're 2 hours and 40 minutes. I have got a very busy day of watching boxing all day tomorrow, from like morning until night, and I'm looking forward to it. I got to save my energy for that. I'm sure you understand. Let's see. Christopher Hitchens was right, and he'd be right to say the same about today's situation. So when this must have been 20 years ago, I guess, or even longer. Christopher Hitchens. He was not pulling any punches back then. He was telling the truth. Let's take a look.
In 1788, when the United States was barely a country, it was having its sailors taken as slaves by the Barbary states, the states of the Ottoman Empire in North Africa.
Tripoli.
Shores of Tripoli. Ships stopped. Its crews carried off into slavery. We estimate 1.5 million European and American slaves taken between 1750 and 1850. Jefferson and Adams went to their ambassador in London and said, why do you do this to us? The United States has never had a quarrel with the Muslim world of any kind. We weren't in the Crusades. We weren't in the war in Spain. Why do you do this to our people and our ships? Why do you plunder and enslave our people? And the ambassador said very plainly, Mr. Abdul Rahman said, because the Quran gives us permission to do so, because you are infidels. And that's our answer. And Jefferson said, well, in that case, I will send a navy which will crush your state, which he did. And a good thing, too. Islamic fundamentalism is not created by American democracy. It's a lie to say so. It's a masochistic lie. It excuses those who are the real criminals, and it blames us for the attacks made upon us. In 1788, when the United States...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like a 1,400-year track record of doing the exact same thing all the time. So, I don't know. I mean, read into that. Read into the 1,400-year track record of doing the exact same thing. Read into that what you will. Let's see. Mental Health says, hearing about Don Lemon's arrest almost made me, well, I'm going to say climax. Climax. I mean, I don't think the climax of his arrest and everything is going to be that exciting, quite frankly. I don't think much is going to happen to him, but, I'm glad that they did. He broke the law. He broke the law. Remember that time he just walked into the jungle? Well, who's that? Is that Joe Biden? After finishing his speech in Brazil, President Joe Biden walked away into the Amazon rainforest. It would have been funny if he just never come back. And then last year, there was a drone over top of the Amazon jungle, and they just found him with a tribe, like a pre-industrial tribe, just living with a bow and arrow. That would have been funny. In fairness, there's probably a path there that you can't really see, but he did have a habit of just wandering off. What's this?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
It's a single word. Foothills of the Himalayas.
Foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
All right. Anyway, that's enough of that. All right. Let's see. What else did you guys send in? Many Canadians need a reality check. You know who you are. Current reality of Canada. Let's take a look.
Let me give you the most realist rundown of Canada right now in 60 seconds, okay? Canada has now become a really naturally beautiful, gorgeous person that has all the potential to be rich in so many ways, but has horrible self-destructive habits and doesn't take care of themselves. What we have seen from our government over the last decade is them putting on a clinic of wasted potential, self-destructive decisions, mismanagement of all of our major sectors, and just massive policy failure. And everyone says Canadian citizens are so nice. And you know what I've come to realize, unfortunately, is that Canadians in general are just really soft, and no one wants to say that. Look, it's not about left or right, okay? This is just objective. Canada's really not doing well. Justin Trudeau and his party put us decades behind in so many ways, and then when we had a chance to stop the bleeding at the very least last year, we thought it would be a good idea to vote in the same people that got us into this mess in the first place. Our economy has performed as one of the worst in the top 40 nations on earth in the last decade. We have a housing and affordability crisis right now. Business investment and innovation have collapsed. We have one of the highest tax rates in the world and nothing to show for it. Our healthcare sucks. Everyone knows that. There's so many issues. Crime rates are at a place I would have never even imagined in this country. Our immigration is a dumpster fire. We now have more bills being pushed that threaten free speech than maybe any other nation on earth. Our mainstream media is government funded and literally isn't even able to give us the objective truth. We've never had a worse global reputation. And now our prime minister, instead of working on strengthening our partnership with the US and making a deal, the most powerful nation on earth, our most important ally and trading partner, and is the main reason why we have any national security, by the way, is now sabotaging our relationship with them. All because he's trying to act tough against the big bad orange man. You know what? It turns out elbows up just made a lot of you feel good, but is really just incredibly destructive for us. And everybody here is so focused on Trump with a complete inability to look in the fucking mirror. You know what? It's like we're the weakest player on the ice in a hockey game, and we're going up to the best player on our own team and trying to pick a fight with them instead of working.
Do you know what it is? Carney and liberals, people who vote liberal in this country, are like that girlfriend, the crazy girlfriend, who you go into a bar and they immediately insult the biggest, toughest looking guy there and say, my boyfriend's going to kick your ass. That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, everything he says is 100% true. Will the East wake up? I don't know. If they don't, I mean, the country will fall apart. It's inevitable. If Canada has just become, or if I say Eastern Canada, if the Laurentian elite just have a vice grip on the country now, and we've just become a one-party state, so, you know, the left is completely consolidated behind the Liberal Party. If the left, the reason that Carney won is because of the collapse of the NDP, the other far-left party in Canada. So if that's permanent now, well, I mean, the Conservatives are going to have a really hard time winning any elections because we had a record vote last time, and it should have been enough in a normal election to have actually a pretty big majority in Canada. But the left consolidated around Carney because they thought that, the other leftist voters went to the Liberals because they thought they just wanted to beat the Conservatives. That's it. That didn't happen in the past, but the country has been, unfortunately, reshaped into the image, into the embodiment of Justin Trudeau and his magic socks, where it's just, as long as the word conservative isn't involved, we're for it. Anything other than that word conservative. It's not even about policies, because they don't even know what the policies are. It's just the word. It's just fashion. So if Canada is now just a gigantic San Francisco, I think we have about the, GDP of San Francisco, the entire country at this point. If we're just that, the country's going to fall apart. Alberta will leave, whether it's, this referendum or the next one, they will leave. Quebec will end up leaving too. In fact, I could see the whole West just separating. And that's something I could really get behind, to be honest. Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia. Let's not forget, British Columbia has, the bad name of being California North and, the reputation of being super woke. Well, yeah, in Vancouver it is. But look, I think the Liberals got one more seat than the Conservatives in British Columbia in the last election. So it's not like, outside of Vancouver, BC is totally conservative. Outside of Victoria and, the southern Vancouver Island and Vancouver, right, BC is conservative, right? So it's not just this, 90% of the seats go to the left-wingers. No. It's pretty much split right now. So that wouldn't drag everybody else down either. So, that would actually be a pretty strong country with a larger population. Let's see. And then you can still get your pipelines across, but you'd have to get rid of the far left guy. The fact that the NDP is polling above 3% is astonishing to me with the land title thing. I mean, them just facilitating the courts giving away people's land. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Is it that people don't know yet? I don't know. But in any case, that's what if it has to fall apart, I'd like to see just the West as a piece, the whole West just as a piece go. These can have Manitoba. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat for a second. I don't want to neglect you guys the way that Ottawa neglects Alberta. Just in case I pissed off any Albertans earlier. I love Alberta. Again, the only reason I moved back where I am now is for family. That's it, because family has to come first, right? And I don't regret that, but I like Alberta. Let's see. And you get used to the weather. Let's see. Dame Pam says some were worried that he may have encountered cannibals. Talking about Biden there. Let's see. Well, it's entirely possible. They actually are out there, you know. Let's see. Mental Health says, and some people wonder why I say that some people shouldn't be allowed to breed. Joe Biden is a prime example. Prime example. But he did a good job for the cabal behind the scenes that was actually running the United States. Let's see. Let's see. Dame Pam asks, Baloney, have you seen that National Roast Lefty El Bozo Hinterland video yet? Short, clever, and hilarious. I'm not sure if I have. I'm not sure. Maybe send it on X and we'll see it for the next one if we have it. Let's see. All right. Let's see. It looks like we're losing Mental Health, but it is getting late. Good to see you. Hopefully see you on Sunday night. All right. I'm getting tired too. I need to jump off soon. I'm getting really tired. You guys are probably noticing that. Look at this. Frodo Baggins surprises couple by crashing their Lord of the Rings wedding. Well, that's fun. I mean, if you're super into Lord of the Rings, that's Elijah Wood there, right? But I think it would have been better if he had just gotten up in the full Hobbit getup. I'm sure Peter Jackson gave them all their costumes if they wanted them at the end of the shoot, right? He should have gone as Frodo, not as Elijah Wood. That's not the same. There's no Elijah Wood in Lord of the Rings. Anyway, but still, I mean, that's what a nice gesture from him, huh? Let's see. Now, I want to know, do you guys think this is like real or is this like a skit? Let's take a look. So let's just watch.
Stop following me. You have.
What are you talking about?
There's a.
Hold on. Let's go back to the beginning. Is this a skit or is it real?
Leave me alone. Why do you keep following me? It's honestly so creepy, and I'm going to call the cops.
Man,
okay?
no.
Because you guys aren't leaving me alone, and that's why women can't go out in the world by themselves because of guys like you.
What?
Okay? So stop following me.
You have.
What are you talking about?
There's literally a gas hose hanging out of your car. No one's being creepy. Oh. No, thank you. I guess.
Thank you very much.
There's the thank you. That's. She's what? She's taking it with her? She doesn't have. Make sure to get all of it. Wow, dude.
Now, the dudes are convincing. She felt like it was rehearsed. That felt like acting to me. And you couldn't just drive off with that. Like, no, I don't think you can. I don't think there's any way you could drive off and not notice that. Let's take another look.
And I'm going to call the cops.
Man,
okay?
no.
Because you guys aren't leaving me alone, and that's why women can't go out in the world by themselves because of guys like you.
What?
Okay? So stop following me.
You have.
What are you talking about?
There's literally a gap.
You know what? I think I need to take a couple of minutes. I think Mr. Snacks needs to go out really quick. So you guys discuss whether you think that's real or not. I'll be right back. Yep, I was right. Big number one. He must have been bursting. I feel bad now. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying? So, Raider Streamer says real. Rosie says real. Rose says, yes, I know people who could definitely do that. Spambot says, I've seen people driving off twice. Spambot says, both drivers were white women. Spambot says, probably liberals. Probably liberals. Do I have a button for that?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
No. No, I don't. Let's see. Staged, Trudeau survivor says she didn't notice the pump when she got out of the car. Radio Streamer says that it's wild to me that still happens, but I guess I can see if you really tried loads of kids in a van, maybe Trudeau starts also staged when we'll never fill up the gas tank. So I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Grok. Let's take a look. Let's see what Grok has to say. I've got that. We'll point out the issue. Risk of such errors. Made rising. Ratios talks. That doesn't say anything. I guess we just got to take it as being real. All right. Real it is. Let's see. Rosie says, I know a person who was getting out of her car at work. Had a Biggie tea from Wendy's. She reached up and set it on top of her car. I know where this is going. Before she got out, forgot the sunroof was open. Oh no. Dropped it on herself. What a dingbat. What a dingbat. Right, Rosie? All right. That is funny. Tired of individualism? Experience the warmth of collectivism from the Babylon Bee. We should save this for Monday so I don't get a copyright because, I don't know, stuff gets copyrighted. Amelia wants to take a trip to see how the rest of the Anglosphere is doing. I wonder what she'll find. So Amelia was a character in a propaganda game funded by the UK government to try and trick British people into thinking it was bad if they noticed reality or like weren't totally wild about mass immigration. And then, of course, it was picked up and has become a meme. So, and it's hilarious. Let's take a look.
Britain's a mess. Let's see how her former colonies are getting along.
Oh, geez. Wish I were a hockey puck so burly fellas would slap me around with their sticks, eh?
Hey there, do you know about maple syrup? Beauty day, eh? Take care, bud.
Of course you can transition your kid in Canada. And if it goes bad, we'll assist in the suicide, eh?
I offer you half my royal fortune.
The sad thing, it's really sad. That's true. Like what he just said is actually true.
In exchange only for the small transfer fee I need. And still, you do nothing?
It's Jamia, come on. What you think this video gonna be?
Don't get too close or it'll bite your face off. I'm talking about the koala.
G'day, mate. Bloody Ripper Day out here, eh? No worries, you legend.
In Australia, diversity is our strength.
Rhodesia, this is Zimbabwe now.
I asked for large fries. I ain't paying for this now. Nah, I asked for large fries. You trying to get shot?
Howdy, partner.
All right. So, I've been reading a book called The Case for Colonialism. And, man, it's giving me some fresh insights to just how deranged the version of history that we are getting is. The official versions of history. It's really quite astonishing. I won't get into it now. Maybe we'll do a video about it at some point. But all right, let's see. Message for Liberal supporters. All right, let's take it. It's 20 seconds long. Let's take a look.
To the people of Canada, what the fuck are you thinking?
Carney's an idiot, and he's going to walk you down the primrose path right into communism. It'd be a lot easier just to become the 51st state than have to learn to speak Chinese. Just saying.
You know, I don't want to be the 51st state. This is the thing. I'd want Canada to be a real country again, like the one I grew up in. Don't want to be the 51st state. Nobody really wants to be. There's not that many people that really would like to be the 51st state. And by the way, Trump's going to be out in 3 years. Once the Democrats get back in, they are saying that they are going to go hard, right? Put everybody in prison that they don't like. 80 trillion new illegal immigrants, immediately naturalize them all, pack the Supreme Court. Like, be careful what you wish for. I hope that doesn't happen. I very much like to see a J.D. Vance presidency in 28, but the world is rife with peril right now for everybody, right? Let's see. Walter Matthau telling his favorite joke on the Tonight Show. We'll save that for Monday. Let's see. This one we'll save for Monday. This one for Monday too. That's a Monday premium one there. This one here as well. We'll save. That's definitely a Monday one. And here's Katie Hopkins. But let's save this one for Sunday. We're 3 hours. I'm done, you guys. I'm wiped out. Let's save the rest of these for Sunday. Let's see. What do I have on the? Let's see. I had who did I have on the thumbnail? I had Pierre Poilievre, okay, did that. Had Mamdani, covered that. And who was the other one? Mamdani, and then who was the other one on the thumbnail? I can't see the thumbnail here. Who was the other one? There was a guy looking scared. Did we cover that? It was I think it was Bill Gates. Yeah, and we covered that too. Okay, so I did everything that was on the thumbnail. All right. So you know what? Let's just we'll leave everything else for Sunday night now. We did a lot tonight. Let's get to the chat. Let's see. From Dame Pam, the El Bozo Liberalis Fanaticus, True Canadian. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's do one. Hold on. Let's see what you guys have got in store. All right. What is this? Oh. No music, right? Is there any music in this? I'll have to save that for Monday. Let's see. Anything with music we'll save till Monday, to the premium stream. Let's see. Somebody quick, someone make a name up on the thumbnail, Radio Streamer. Thanks so much, Radio Streamers. Appreciate that. Let's see. Spambot says, I have the usual suspects ready to watch after this. Good. That's a great movie, right? Yeah. Let's see. I was watching something. I can't remember what it was. Let's see. I'm tired now. I can barely think straight. True driver. So Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Oh dear. Bill Gates. Oh jeez. Let's see. As he says, guess I fell asleep. Sounds like you're right. We are wrapping up. Rose says, thank you, Richie. Have a great weekend, everyone. Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks. Again, I have to always keep saying this because it's true. This would be terrifyingly boring if you guys weren't here. I would be ranting to a cold and indifferent universe, so that would be depressing. But because that you guys are here, it's not depressing and it's fun, even when I'm tired and I can barely think straight, like tonight. By the way, one last thing for the people on YouTube, go subscribe to the new channel. It's like 4 months old or something. Radio Baloney News, the second channel. That's where you're going to find all the world news and the UK news and the meme reviews, all that kind of stuff. You've got to find it on Radio Baloney News, the channel you're watching right now, only for live streams and Canadian news from now on. So you have to go over there and subscribe because the algorithm hates me and it hates you. And yeah, so you got to find it yourself and don't let the gatekeepers win. All right. Let's see. Let me get to the last bit of chat here. All right. Thanks, Radio Streamer. Thanks, Rosie. Yeah, everybody like 118 on X. Well, that's very fun. Good times. All right. Anyway, thanks a lot, you guys. Everybody have a great weekend. I've been looking forward to tomorrow. There's boxing on all day. So it's a total Rancho Relaxo boxing day for me. I'm very excited about that. Everybody have a great Saturday. And I hope to see everybody on Sunday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. See ya.